Nhưng mà vừa mà
Give me a hell yeah. What? What?
Jody said, who fave rapper Tupac or Biggie?
Chat, we back in the motherfucker twin.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
Yeah, I see.
What?
I see shit. Move this shit. I feel like this is in the way. I really do. Get them motherfucker started. This is the breakdown, the history. Or hit them up. By Tupac, the famous best diss song all time, hand down.
What happened? That's why they all, you know.
Oh shit.
Why they end up in our rotten. That's why what I'm doing.
Hold on. Need the bathroom real quick. Twin. I'm gonna let that motherfucker. I'm gonna let it play for y'all. What number I'm gonna play? Alright, so we back in the motherfucker twin. Yeah, look. You right. Then child found another fucking documentary too. The cellmate of Tupac when he was locked up too. He breaks down what really happened during them times. So we got to see that one. I got so much planned for y'all. We're gonna get this motherfucker kicked out to him.
You know what I'm doing? I'm destroying them. This is why I'm in the game. I'm destroying them. I feel like I'm doing it for hip hop. All I'm trying to do is get the imposters out. I remember Biggie sleeping on my couch. I remember begging. You feel me? Yeah. So Big Papa don't mean nothing to me. He know it. He know it. That's why he can't fight me. That's why he can't battle me. Yeah.
That same day, after doing the interview,
they mad because I know what happened. That's why they all, you know, it's big enough they're not rotten. That's why what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. I'm destroying them. This is why
talk your shit, twin.
I'm destroying them. I feel like I'm doing it for hip hop. All I'm trying to do is get the imposters out. I remember Biggie sleeping on my couch. I remember begging. You feel me? Yeah. So Big Papa don't mean nothing to me. He know it. He know it. That's why he can't fight me. That's why he can't battle me. Yeah.
that same day, after doing the interview with Sway, he drove directly to the studio to re-record the Bad Boy diss record Hit 'Em Up, with entirely new verses from him and the Outlaws, but this time they tried to be even more disrespectful than before. And he didn't just go at Biggie. He also went against Diddy, Lil Kim, Lil C's, Junior Mafia, the whole Bad Boy label, Mobb Deep, Gino XL, Jay-Z, and everyone else who had a problem with him. The producer Johnny J made the same beat from scratch, but this time it sounded more polished. They also took inspiration from the Get Money remix, where the background singer repeatedly said, "Get money." And on Hit 'Em Up, they turned it into "Take money."
Take money.
Basically saying that Biggie might be getting money, but Pac is taking it away from him.
Ooh.
The song starts off in the most disrespectful way possible. Probably the most iconic opening line in history.
Legendary.
That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. West side, bad boy killer.
Pac destroyed whatever was left of Biggie's marriage with this song alone. By this point, everyone had seen the pictures of Pac and Faith together. Now this song would play at every club, at every event, in every hood, and every day on the radio. Starting off with the most disrespectful opening lines in hip-hop history, on one of the hardest tracks of '96. A timeless classic with infinite replay value.
Still hot,
First
still
off, your itch in the click you claim. West side, when we ride, come equipped with game.
Starting off his first verse with a huge FU to Biggie's wife and Junior Mafia. On the first version of Hit 'Em Up, Pac
Hello. They
didn't
got me
really
hyped
insult
now.
Biggie's
Oh shit, I don't follow that shit, my bad. Got me hyped now, twin.
wife, only said that he slept with her. But now that Faith told Big about the sample they used for Hit 'Em Up, and them using it for the Get Money remix in the attempt to sabotage Pac, he had no reason to spare Faith during his lyrical onslaught, saying that he not only effed her, but he's also saying F her, used her and threw her away. The disrespect.
Why you say it like that?
He's also saying that as a representative of the West, people can be sure that he will pull up strapped and with game, meaning intensity, every time he goes for a ride to hunt his enemies.
You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on bad boys, niggas fuck for life.
How can you claim to be a player, make the song player's anthem, but then wife up a promiscuous woman, who according to her own confessions in her book, had numerous affairs behind Biggie's back, opening her legs for random men. Possibly
Random? So I got a chance. So I had a chance, what? Yeah. Hello.
even for Biggie's enemy Tupac. How can you call yourself a player after that? Players usually don't even have a wife. They never commit and change partners like their underwear. So Pac was pointing out that contradiction. He's also threatening to shoot and kill the people from Bad Boy.
Plus, Puffy tryna see me weak, hearts I rip. Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia, some more ass.
After reading Pac's comments in the Vibe magazine and hearing his constant jabs at him and his label, Puffy told Pac to come see him if he's as tough as he claims, so that they can talk it out face to face. He was calling him a fake thug and actor. But then, when they actually met at the 96 Soul Train Awards, Puff ran for his life and hid under a car. And everyone was laughing at him. So Puff...
That boy ran in the goddamn car, it's crazy. That nigga did it bopping on that motherfucker. How long I gotta get in the car? That nigga did it bopping on that motherfucker.
Pac is saying that he'd rip his weak heart out. He doesn't associate with weak-hearted people. But this is also a double entendre, with Pac saying that Puffy wants to see him weak, like when he went to prison with the whole media destroying his image and reputation, and then putting out Who Shot Ya to kick Pac while he was already on the ground, unable to respond. But now that he's out, he's showing the world that Puffy, Biggie and Bad Boy are easy targets for him. Quote-unquote mark-ass heroes. Similar to how Pac was robbed for his jewelry in the presence of Biggie and Puffy, Pac and his homies will come for their jewelry as well and rob them at gunpoint. Take their jewelry and take their money, like you hear the singers say in the background. When Puffy heard this, he actually put out a $75,000 bounty on Death Row Chains.
75,000? God damn. 75,000 crazy, twin.
At Larry Johnson and 3E.
There you go.
Said,
what's up, my boy?
Knowing the radio boy is back.
Yeah.
At Easy Clipped.
Easy
Said,
clip. Well, I appreciate you.
Tupac the greatest.
Yeah. I fuck with you, twin. Long way. Yeah. Always.
And
See, I got no ring in. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to put a bandana on. I said, I ain't gonna be too violent for him today. Ain't gonna be too violent for him.
Who manages to snatch one of their chains and bring it back to Puffy would receive that amount of money. Because Puffy's plan was...
We do got a, I did find another documentary, y'all, of Tupac. His cellmate, they got a picture together too. So his cellmate, we gonna see what the fuck he talking about. See, he talking about some real shit or some fake shit and call his ass.
At Larry Johnson
Bad Boy
and 3E.
music video for Biggie
Said,
with them showing off the stolen Death Row medallion to belittle them, showing them that they're the ones in power, the ones that get the last laugh. On Hit 'Em Up, you were saying that you would rob us and take our jewelry, but as you can see, you're the ones who actually got robbed. You're the victims and you can't do anything about it. That's what Puffy wanted to do to ridicule and emasculate them.
Young ass up.
Now this is a clever play on Little Caesar's name, turning C's into deceased. Cutting him up into pieces, which is also a reference to Julius Caesar of the Roman Empire, who got brutally stabbed to death by those he believed to be his closest friends, who believed that Caesar was full of
James Harry's 2962.
I'm sorry, Chad. We gonna run that shit back.
Tupac smiling face with sunglasses saluting face.
Man, I need y'all to drop them thug life in here, man, or something. Drop thug life in the chat, man. Y'all fuck.
At Larry Johnson and 3E. Said, Hit 'Em Up the greatest diss song ever.
That's why I been trying to tell them, Larry. They be talking about Vaseline, no Vaseline by Cube is better. Man, fuck out of here with this shit. Oh, fuck that. He hit him up
to death by those he believed to be his closest friends, who believed that Caesar was full of wrongdoings.
I'm turned. Red Bull. Damn, no, go back.
You can't do anything about it.
Oh, we gotta hit it again.
That's what Puffy wanted to do to ridicule and emasculate them.
Little Caesar, go ask your homie how I leave you. Cut your young ass up, leave you in pieces. Now be deceased.
Now this is a clever play on Little Caesar's name, turning C's into deceased. Cutting him up into pieces, which is also a reference to Julius Caesar of the Roman Empire, who got brutally stabbed to death by those he believed to be his closest friends, who believed that Caesar was full of wrongdoings for his people. Pac used to be Little Caesar's friend, but he did him wrong, and now he's cutting him into pieces. Because again, Pac believed that C's was the lookout man during the Quad Studio incident. The guy that lured him into a trap by telling him to get around the corner
at Larry
to the
Johnson
place where he got robbed.
Said, Nas either is better than no Vaseline. What the F they are talking
Little
about.
Kim is another member of Biggie's Junior Mafia. She was the one Biggie cheated on Faith with. Reason why they're getting dissed is because they were the closest to Biggie, and also appeared on the Get Money remix, for which again they stole the beat of Hit 'Em Up. Pac is telling her to not mess with real G's like him, or else he will snatch her ugly ass off the streets. This is actually a double entendre. The first way to...
Give me a hell yeah. What?
interpret this is pretty straightforward. He wants to kidnap her. The second way is that he wants to take her off the streets, like a pimp. Pimps do that to underperforming prostitutes who are not attractive enough to attract men and to make money. So the pimp, which in this case is Pac, is taking her out of rotation, basically calling her an ugly, underperforming prostitute. Her main selling point aside from her rapping skills was definitely her looks, which Biggie wanted to utilize to outsell the competition on the West Coast.
At Larry Johnson and 3E.
Pac is saying that he'll continue the beef until one of them dies, which is unfortunately what's happened, since both of them lost their lives in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast War. The beef was very personal. The two had a lot of history together, turned from close friends to deadly enemies. Pac was willing to keep the beef going until he leaves planet Earth, which is exactly what he did.
Give me a hell yeah.
He's killing everyone that's associated to the label Bad Boy. They'll get their caps peeled. meaning they'll get shot in the head. In the hook, he's telling them to grab their guns and to call the police when they see him, since he's about to strike back after they failed to finish him off during the Quad Studio shooting. As you can hear, Pac tried to mimic the hook on Junior Mafia's Players Anthem. Then he references Biggie's song Who Shot Ya, telling them that they didn't finish, and that now they have to deal with the consequences.
Who shot y'all? The weak from the opposite. Who shot me, but your pumps didn't finish. Now you're about to feel the wrath of a minute. I hit him up.
In the interlude, Pac tells his enemies that none of them are on his level.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I thought he hit him up something. I thought he said get money the whole damn time. All the years till they learned he said take money. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie on this shit.
And that he'll just let his soldiers take care of them. A couple years ago, Biggie was one of Pac's soldiers, and he still sees him as someone who doesn't have the same rank as him. He sees himself as a general and Biggie as a soldier who's on the same level as his outlaws, which is of course ridiculous, knowing that Biggie is one of the greatest to ever do it. And he had proven himself to be a force to be reckoned with all the awards and plaques he got, crowned as the King of New York by the Hip Hop Bible. He was definitely the closest to Tupac in terms of hierarchy and rank. They were both fighting for the #1 spot. But Pac wanted to remind him that he once stood exactly where his outlaws are standing right now, right by his side, working under him. So Big shall come down from his high horse.
Get out the way, yo, get out the way, yo. Biggie's more just got dropped.
Hussein Fatal had the second verse, and he starts off by saying that Biggie just got dropped, describing a crime scene in which Big was just shot and people are pushing through the crowd to see his dead body. He asked Lil Moo, aka Napoleon from the Outlaws, to pass him the Mac, so that he can shoot Biggie in his back even though Pac already dropped him.
Frank White needs to get spanked right for setting traps. Little accident murderer, and I ain't never heard of you.
This is them publicly saying that Biggie set up Tupac, talking about the Quad Studio incident. People were always coming in Pac's defense, saying that he never actually claimed that Biggie set him up, but they're accusing him right here, on one of Pac's biggest records. Pac always made conflicting statements about Biggie's alleged involvement. He would usually only say that Big knew who shot him, but wouldn't tell him, and that he assumes that he had something to do with it, having no clear evidence. But now Hussein Fatal is literally saying that it was him who set him up, which later turned out to be complete nonsense. Pac then comes in with verse number 3, saying that this ain't no freestyle battle but murder, since he's killing all his enemies with their mouths open. People always debated on who's the better freestyler, Pac or Biggie.
Skip. They got me last time for that. I gotta skip that
this
shit.
Track, as it's his metaphorical nail in the coffin.
Talking about you getting money, but it's funny to me.
I know, right? I gotta get more into the Outlaws.
He also references the song Get Money, how Biggie bragged about his newfound wealth after blowing up, while using the beat for Hit 'Em Up to infuriate Tupac. He was basically showing Pac that he's one step ahead of him, and that they'll continue making money no matter what. And Pac responds by promising him that he'll turn his life miserable if he ever tries to mess with him, pulling those stunts like on Get Money. Then he tries to remind...
We need to start a damn petition. We need to write to the East State, whoever got the goddamn all 200 songs, Tupac. You need to drop another album. We need another album. He said, I'll call out for work. You know what I'm saying? Vacation all day. I'll be listening to shit about 3 days.
And him of the past, before Biggie reached superstardom. Back when he was sleeping on Tupac's couch every time he came to LA. Because Biggie used to make songs like Juicy, where he rapped about his struggles growing up. But he somehow can't remember how Pac used to let him rap at his shows and crash at his house when he was too broke to buy train tickets.
You know you stole this song.
Biggie, remember when I used to let you sleep on the couch and beg a to let you sleep in the house?
I remember Biggie sleeping on my couch. I remember begging Tips to
Talk your shit, Twin. Talk your shit.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So Big Papa don't mean nothing to me. He know
I
it.
ain't lying, but they dropping that Tupac. I'm calling that. I'm gonna save my vacation too.
He also addressed the whole thing about him begging women to sleep with Biggie.
I got my little
because back then, Biggie had no game. Tupac was a ladies' man, and Biggie always wanted to be like him. Then he jumps to the present and mocks Biggie for trying to bite his whole swagger and player image.
Now it's all about Versace.
You copy my style.
5 shots couldn't drop me. I took it in smile.
Tupac was one of the first rappers to dress in and talk about luxury brands. Clothing usually associated with rich white males, thus kickstarting an even more materialistic trend in mid-90s hip-hop. Pac is trying to say that he had the Versace style before Biggie. Gianni Versace gave Tupac free clothes because he thought he was beautiful, and he also admired his art, so that's why he wanted Pac to wear his clothes. This was also a response to Biggie claiming that he was the one who started mentioning Versace in song lyrics.
He glamorized Versace. I didn't call Versace. Versace called me to come to his show and gave me a gang of free clothes. And please wear my shit. Please do some shit for me. Let me wear my shit. You are the image of Versace. I swear to God. You are that body. That's Versace. I swear to God, Armani. You are so handsome. You are pleasing. You know what I mean? From him, Dolce & Gabbana, man, I ain't rapping at they show. Valentino giving me suits, gangster suits. Everything he glamorized, I personified.
Yeah, you did.
Everything he wanna have, I got.
Next we have a verse from Gaddafi, who starts off by giving a shout out to New Jersey, the city he was born in. Then he takes aim at the Junior Mafia members Lil C's and Lil Kim.
Check the scenario. Little C's, I bring you fake G's to your knees, copping please in these scenario.
He hopes to bring the fake East Coast gangsters to their knees for a plea bargain in Rio de Janeiro. Reason why he even mentioned the city in Brazil is because Lil C's was also known by his alias Cesareo de Janeiro. The next lines were aimed at Lil Kim and the Junior Mafia family. Him calling the Junior Mafia clique Junior Whopper made Lil C's and the people from Bad Boy laugh the hardest. They loved that line, since he's not only making fun of Biggie's weight, calling his clique a cheap fat burger that was worth 99 cents at the time.
I don't know. That shit was 99 cents. I know you motherfucking ass. Damn, I missed out on everything, bro. 99 cents? You can't get 99 cents for no damn hamburger no more.
But he was also saying that they ain't valuable and can't get money. They are not even a Whopper, just a cheaper, smaller version of it. Biggie and Craig Mack together were marketed as the Big Mac, back when the label Bad Boy first made a name for itself. Because in '94, the label put out a sampler called Big Mac, with 6 Craig Mack songs on the A-side and 7 Biggie songs on the B-side, as they were the first major artists on Bad Boy with their albums Ready to Die and Project Funk the World, dropping back-to-back in September '94. And now Gaddafi is calling Biggie's crew the Junior Whopper clique. Then we have Idi Amin, who repurposed the hook from MC Light's diss track 10% Diss to accuse Biggie of biting Tupac's beat and style.
Choose a beat biter, a pop style taker. I tell you to your face, you ain't this but a faker.
Beat biter, dope style taker. Tell you to your face, you ain't nothing but a faker.
He called him a beat biter because not only did Biggie steal the beat of Tupac's Time to Get My Drank On for his hit single Big Papa, but he also stole the beat of the first version of Hit 'Em Up for his Get Money remix. Not only that, but Pac and his camp.
James George Bush, they fucked it up, and we blame George Bush. You know what I'm saying? We blame his ass for it. God damn. Shit, you can't even get a meal. You gonna spend about 20. Shit, for a goddamn whole meal. Goddamn, 20 for a meal. Damn, you charge me $4 and goddamn 85 cents for some a large fry. Goddamn.
We're also convinced that Biggie stole his style, especially the player image and him constantly rapping about death. And then we get to the legendary outro where Tupac lashes out on everybody. This is a 1.5-minute rant about Puffy, Biggie, Lil C's, Lil Kim, Jay-Z, Junior Mafia, Chino XL, Mobb Deep, and everyone from New York trying to take shots at them.
Now you tell me who won. I see them, they run.
Pac thinks that this track won him the East Coast-West Coast war. as it's a lot harder than Who Shot Ya, which he thought was a diss track towards him. And also all the other diss tracks from rappers from the East Coast.
They don't want to see us. Whole Junior Mafia clique dressing up trying to
talk your shit, twin.
He also makes fun of the fact that Puffy ran off in parkour fashion when they came face to face at the '96 Soul Train Awards. Puffy was running for his life and hiding under a car. And he was the one telling Pac to come say those things he's saying in the media to his face.
He did.
So Pac pulled up and Puffy ran for his life.
Let him cook, Jay.
And that's why he said, I see them, they run.
Any from New York that want to bring it, bring it. But we ain't singing, we bringing drama. You and your motherfucking mama.
He also called out every rapper from New York,
they talk about
showing that he's not scared of any further beefs with rappers from the East Coast. He's basically saying F you to everyone from New York who has a problem with him. And also F you to all their mothers, saying that they'll kill them all.
Now when I came out, I told you it was just about Biggie. Then everybody had to open their mouth with a motherfucking opinion.
At first, Tupac was only talking about Biggie, but he felt like people started taking sides and wanted to get involved, jumping in the ring while the media labels it an East Coast-West Coast conflict, even though for Tupac it was only about him and Biggie. So Pac felt like in order for him to win the war, he has to fight everyone who's still trying to get in the ring with him. He makes clear that everyone can get it, all at the same time. He's not shying away from battling any MC from the opposite coast.
Biggie, bad boy as a staff record label and as a
The next lines were the reason why Puffy finally decided to put out a hit on him and Shook. Puffy was worried about his business and safety, because Pac was the biggest rapper on the planet at the time, crushing everything Puffy, Biggie, and Bad Boy had built up since Pac got shot the first time in New York.
All of y'all you die slow, motherfucker. My phone make sure all y'all kids don't grow.
Puffy was scared to death after Tupac made those threats on Hit 'Em Up. Especially the part about him killing their kids, knowing that his baby mama, Misa Hilton, has a relationship with Shook. Cause she would always bring Biggie's son to LA every time Shook flew her out. Faith and Biggie had a baby on the way too. And he also had a daughter, which Tupac helped to support. And Pac—
We all agree. Biggie and Diddy swear they were goddamn player. But they baby mama. Y'all ain't got no taste in women. Y'all ain't players. Y'all wasn't keeping it P. They were keeping the P on y'all.
Was now saying, my fofo, make sure all your kids don't grow. Nobody had crossed that line yet. It was unheard of for rappers to threaten to kill babies. And Pac was really out of control at the time. He scared Puffy to death when they met at the Soul Train Awards. And that's why he supposedly got in touch with Keefe D and wanted him to take care of them before they do anything stupid. Cause even on the song, he was telling everyone to not come to Cali.
Out here in California, and we warn you, we'll bomb on you, motherfucker. We do our job.
Counting loot. I got banks to rob, convertible sobs. I'm married to the mob.
You think you mob? We the motherfucker mob.
He also gave a shout out to Shook's gang, the Mob Peru, which Pac wanted to join. They had the Bloods behind them, ready to go at the people from Bad Boy the moment they come to LA. Pac ends the song by mentioning the record sales of his last album, bragging about outselling everybody.
Fuck him, we Bad Boy killers. We kill it, 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 we kill it.
On May 21st, Biggie, the Lux, Diddy, and the rest of the Bad Boy family were at the video shoot for the Kissin' You Oh Honey remix. This was also Biggie's 24th birthday, the last birthday he ever had. According to Jadakiss and Little C's, somebody brought Biggie a bootleg version of Hit 'Em Up before it was officially released. The people from Death Row leaked the song on purpose and made sure that Biggie got a copy of it on his birthday to give him the surprise of his life. Similar to how Pac was surprised when they dropped Who Shot Ya exactly a week after he went to prison. Biggie was having a great time at the set, but the mood suddenly changed when they showed him the cassette. They put it in the cassette player of the Mercedes-Benz and blasted it on full volume, listening to it together. So Biggie heard the most disrespectful diss track in history while he was in the middle of celebrating his birthday. And now he's getting insulted in front of his family and friends with a beat that's using the same sample as the Get Money remix. So now they finally understood that the beat Faith was talking about when she came back to New York was meant for the Biggie diss track Hit 'Em Up. Biggie understood in that moment that Pac had the audacity to make his wife listen to a beat on which he and Faith would later get insulted on.
And he wasn't even really mad. He was more mad at the stuff they were saying about C's and Kim, opposed to the song itself. It didn't ruffle his feathers. He was more upset about what they were saying about his little man and the Queen Bee. We used to ask him. He worshipped down there the ground. He used to love Pac. Pac used to give him jewels, and he would tell us stories for days about Pac.
They stopped shooting the video and gathered to talk about what to do next. Biggie played it off cool and tried to act like the song didn't bother him. He supposedly only got mad that Pac dissed Lil' Kim and Lil' Cease. Jadakiss from the Lox was really impressed by Biggie's cold reaction. Everybody supposedly felt hurt except Biggie. He seemed completely unbothered. But according to Lance Unrivera, the people at the video shoot were really upset about it. It ruined everybody's mood. He also said that Biggie, quote-unquote, cried like a baby shortly after hearing the song, most likely when they were talking in private, and not in front of all those people. Lance was one of Biggie's closest homies. He became part of his clique, The Commission, and wanted to motivate everybody to record a response record and shoot a music video the next day. But Biggie didn't want to do that. What a lot of people don't know is that the beef with Tupac really got to Biggie's head. It really bothered him, to the point that according to Puffy, he had writer's block for 6 to 7 months, which he only overcame after Pac's death.
You're writing this song for like 30 days now.
It's kind of hard, you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of stuff on your mind, you know what I'm saying?
You're writing this song for like 30 motherfucking days. There ain't no excuse for that. But too much balling and doing.
You ain't the one putting out no goddamn music. What is you doing? You just be ad-libbing and shit. Shut your ass up. Hello. Talking about ain't no goddamn excuse. Nigga, what the fuck is you doing?
It's up, you know.
Look, nothing to do with that, man.
It's called writer's block.
The whole time, Puffy made it seem like Pac's constant disrespect towards Bad Boy didn't bother them. But Big was definitely hurt by it. And Puffy had to constantly motivate him to continue, saying that they should just ignore them and continue dropping hits.
Don't let these motherfuckers yo, shut up, dog. I don't give a fuck who it is. Don't let them fuck your paper up, man. Please, Big.
Nah, you fucking on the paper.
Focus your mind, man. Do your albums. Make them hot joints, man. Fuck these ends, man. Fuck these ends, man.
Don't fall asleep, nigga. Everybody dies, nigga. Everybody dies. We all gotta go, nigga. We all gotta go. Go to sleep, nigga. Go to sleep. Close your motherfucking eyes. We all gotta die. Fuck them all. Fuck them all. West Side. MOB, nigga.
Okay. Well, the internet there then, little short shit. We're gonna drop out where we left off yesterday. Man, what the fuck is that? Where we left off yesterday? I think we left off right here.
And this was before the two actually broke up. Kay's comments on the radio made Faith suspicious. She then found out that had to do the same thing to him, cause Big and Stretch were real close, and Pac was mad at both of them. Plus, nobody knew what Shook would do next after losing his friend Big Jake, cause he blamed Puffy for his death. 2 days after Stretch got killed, meaning on December 2nd, Pac decided to diss him on the song Holla at Me, which was named that way because of Tupac's ex-girlfriend Desiree Smith's letter, in which she asked Tupac why Stretch is trying to holler at her. So Pac took that and indirectly told Stretch that he should holler at him instead of hollering at his ex-girlfriends. But Stretch had already passed at this point, so Pac was technically talking to a dead man. These lines are not only aimed at Biggie but also directed at Stretch, who he had known for way longer, before he put out his debut album Tupacalypse Now. Pac had him on every album,
Okay, the weekend.
made dozens of songs with him, let him
The
produce.
weekend. Well, 1 p.m. tomorrow, I'm gonna do it on TikTok though. I might do it on TikTok or Twitter. Twitch. We're gonna react for the first time. Tupac Apocalypse. I'm gonna react to it with y'all for the first time. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Add me on TikTok, Baby Jody 7413. I'm gonna go through his whole album, all album, baby, song for song. We're gonna pull up the lyrics and everything.
Tracks for his projects,
I can't do it
and
on
even
YouTube.
made him a member of his group Thug Life. With "It Was All a Scheme," "You Infiltrated My Team and Sold a Dream," he's talking about
Yeah,
the Thug Life movement that Stretch and Biggie became a part of. Pac had his dreams crushed after
why
that
they do
shooting.
that?
The people from the Thug
You
Life
taking pills and
movement,
shit?
who were supposed to look out for him and be ready to put their lives on the line for their brothers, abandoned him and let him fight those robbers on his own. Didn't even help him to find the people who did it, when the whole purpose of the movement was to save and help each other. That was Pac's dream. The dream people like Stretch and Biggie sold him when they joined his movement. Pac is asking Stretch
Ain't gonna lie,
how he could
if
just
someone- I
watch
know
them
the
shoot
meaning behind this
and
shit,
beat
this
them
shit hit different,
unconscious,
though.
when
The
they
song
all
even
gave
hit
their
10 times
word to
harder.
fight for each other and to defend each other with their lives. He said Stretch dropped like a sack of potatoes, even though he was the biggest guy there.
Damn.
Saying that Stretch and his family would still
my
be
boy
living in the
info.
streets if he wouldn't have given him a chance to make money. Same with Biggie. Big would have went back to selling drugs to make enough money to raise his daughter, who was on the way. Pac was the one who took him on shows so that he can make some quick cash until his deal with Puffy works out. He gave both Stretch and Biggie money to eat and paid their bills as they were broke.
and
He
paid
always
bills,
looked out
crazy.
for them and gave them money when needed. Took them on all his shows, had Stretch on all his albums, and even moved Stretch's family into his residence. Again about Stretch getting weak knees when the robbers pulled out their guns, and he just followed their orders not knowing what to do. Stretch felt like it would have been suicide if he had tried to fight back, cause he didn't have a gun, nor is he able to dodge bullets. Pac was the only one bold enough to counterattack. But you could also interpret these lines as shots against Biggie, blaming him for being too scared to open his mouth and tell him who did it, fearing the consequences of speaking up. Pac was not only disappointed, but he had also lost his respect for them, to the point where squashing the beef was impossible, as he could never see himself being their friends again. He also said this in the March 96 issue of the Source magazine. Stretch was my closest road dog, my closest homie. I did a lot of drama. I got into a lot of cases in Ish because of Stretch. Money-wise, he could have had anything. His daughter was my daughter. Whatever she wanted, she could have. Then this Ish happened and the guy didn't write for me. He didn't do what your dog is supposed to do when you shut up. When I was in jail, he never wrote me, never got at me. His homeboys was coming to see me and he wasn't coming to see me. And he started hanging around Biggie right after this. I'm in jail, shut up, his main dog, and he hanging out and going to shows with Biggie. Both these guys never came to see me. There were rumors on the street that Stretch sold Pac out for money, that he worked for Jimmy Henchman, and that's supposedly why he was the one relaying messages for him. That's why they went directly at Pac instead of the big guy, meaning Stretch.
I'm like that too.
And that's why he continued to hang out with Bad Boy, who on the other hand continued to hang out with Jimmy Henchman. But Majesty, who's the brother of Stretch, denied it, saying that they were in shock and surprised when Jimmy Henchman got the number of their mother, because Jimmy called their mom's crib, possibly to intimidate them, showing them that they know where their mom lives and that they can reach her whenever they want. And they would have never worked with someone who threatened their mother. The last two lines of the first verse could be interpreted as Pac alluding to the rumors of Stretch selling him out for money. These lines are directed at both Stretch and Big. Fear wasn't their only motive when they let him down, according to Pac, saying that it was their greed for money that led them to trap or set up his friend during the robbery. He talked about this in the 96 Vibe interview.
And I feel as though he wronged you. You got out of hand and you wronged me. You got seduced by the power, not because he's an evil person, but because money is evil if it's not handled right. If you lose your composure, you could do anything. And he fear got stronger than love, and it did things they know they weren't supposed to do.
Then in the hook, he flips it and says that he must stay sharp and alert so that he doesn't fall prey to the things that greed for money brings. Pac wants to stay sharp so that he recognizes his friends with ulterior motives or hidden agendas, in order to make sure that something similar to the Quad Studio robbery doesn't happen again. Pac had developed trust issues and questioned everybody that was close to him, cut ties with most of the people he knew, as he felt like he couldn't even trust his childhood friends. That's why he started saying trust nobody during his time in prison.
I would tell each and every person out there, don't forget about that clicking up thing, you know what I mean? Be to yourself, stay to yourself, trust nobody, trust nobody. My closest friends did me in. My closest friends, my homies, people who I done took care of their whole family. I done took care of everything for them, looked out for them, put them in the game, everything, turned on me.
Therefore, anyone who's going to be down with Pac better holler at him, to let him know that he can trust him. That's the message of the song.
Appreciate you joining the channel, my boy.
This right here is a play on words and also confirmation that he's addressing Stretch. Stretch was part of the group Live Squad together with his brother Majesty. Being live means being bold, fearless and respected. Pac is questioning that now that he saw him in fear during the Quad Studio shooting. He can never be live because he's a quote-unquote coward that pretends to be hard but folds under pressure. But it could also be a double entendre, since Stretch passed away. He can never be live or alive because he's dead. These lines could also be a response to Biggie, cause on the song Who Shot Ya, Puffy kept yelling "Get Live" in the intro, interlude and outro. This is obviously about him standing up after getting shot 5 times and then going upstairs to see everybody's faces, including Jimmy Henchman, Puffy, Andre Harrell and the other 40 people who were up there. A couple days after Pac's single California Love with Dr. Dre came out, Pac got confronted by a couple of Keefe D's homies. Again, Keefe D was the Southside Crip that Puff Daddy hired as additional security to keep an eye on Suge Knight and the Mob Piru. Pac had a line in that song that upset the Crips, recognized from Long Beach to Rosecrans. The Crips had a problem with that line because Pac was referring to the areas around Long Beach Boulevard and Rosecrans Avenue in Compton, which is the territory of the Mob Piru Bloods, the gang that Suge and most people working for Death Row were affiliated with, rivals of the Southside Crips and the people that Puffy wanted to keep in check. The Crip Big Syke, who was Pac's friend at the time, de-escalated the situation. I gave a detailed description of what happened in the Tupac murder documentary. Make sure to check it out.
Make sure y'all check it out.
Tupac tattooed the acronym MOB on his inner right upper arm. The acronym stands for 2 things according to Tupac himself: money over bees and money, organization and business. He referenced it on numerous songs recorded in '96, like for example Blasphemy, Hit 'Em Up, Changed Man, Worldwide Mob Figures, MOB, the list goes on and on. People to this day are still unsure if MOB was more than just an acronym that Tupac created. Cause MOB can also mean Mafia, a criminal organization, an acronym for members of Bloods, or a reference to the Mob Piru. You can't make songs and call yourself MOB or any other gang name without gang members confronting you. So the Mob Piru members associated with Death Row knew what he was doing and were fine with it. Some say he got that tattoo to get the Pirus on his side, basically as an army to ride with him in his wars, cause Pac felt like the whole world was against him. He was in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast war. Suge, a Mob Piru member, got him out of prison and got him a second chance in life. So it could have also been loyalty towards Suge. Puffy, on the other hand, relied on the Southside Crips, meaning Keefe D and his people. Pac had Piru members as a security around him, and made himself a target against the Southside Crips. He not only became part of Suge's bloody war with Puffy, in which people like the Pyru member Big Jake, one of Suge's friends, got killed by one of Puffy's associates, but the Southsiders around Puff were also beefing with the Pyrus. So the wolves that Pac and Puffy had around them as security were fighting a bloody war of which Pac couldn't get out of. He more or less got dragged into a gang war without being a real gang member. And things got worse day by day. It wasn't just a hip-hop rivalry anymore. Both sides were constantly receiving death threats. The Crips would approach Pac and the Bloods would approach Puffy. Around the same time, Biggie and Junior Mafia filmed the music video to their hit record Get Money. Big was asked about the whole friction between the East and West Coast, and also about his beef with Tupac.
I'm just here to make music, man. That's it. Right. I don't know East Coast, West Coast, none of that. I'm on Big. I'm Junior Mafia. Just trying to make some paper, man. People in the West Coast, my love. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all thing. We gonna do our thing. We gonna continue to do our thing.
You a what? Bad boy killers.
On December 12th, Pac recorded the song F 'Em All, together with his outlaws calling themselves Bad Boy Killers. In the intro, Pac tells Biggie to put his hands up.
Hey yo, Big, put your hands up.
Taking a common saying from the police, put your hands where I can see them, and using it to belittle his rival Biggie, who's lyrically being held at gunpoint, cornered by Pac and his outlaws. He asks him to surrender and bow down to his greatness, telling Bad Boy to bow down to Death Row, while calling himself a notorious Biggie killer.
I know, man. I got to listen to it. I downloaded yesterday.
He wanted to show the East Coast that the West Coast is superior, during a time when the media couldn't stop using the phrase East Coast-West Coast War as a headline for their magazines. So he was obviously fine with that and was in full war mode, ready to take on the whole coast if he has to. 3 days later, on December 15th, just 3 months after Big Jake got shot in Atlanta, there was another incident that changed the beef between Puffy and Suge forever. Death Row Records was having a Christmas party at a home in the Hollywood Hills, and a record promoter from New York named Mark Anthony Bell, who was close to Puffy, decided to attend, which led to him getting beaten up and threatened by Suge, Tupac and the Ma Pyru. They wanted to know the exact location of Puff Daddy's home in LA, so that they can pay him a visit and rough him up. Mark Bell refused to cooperate and got beaten up pretty badly. Suge even tried to force him to drink a glass filled with his urine, just to humiliate him. I have touched on this incident in
That's the motherfucker. What's wrong with people, bro?
my Tupac murder documentary.
There
you can find out what exactly happened that night and hear the story in full detail. When Puffy found out about this incident, he panicked and was scared for his life, cause Mark Bell took the first flight back to New York, and Puffy was notified immediately. Suge and his people wanted retaliation not only for Big Jake's murder, but also for supposedly knowing about the plans of robbing Tupac at the Quad Studios. So both Biggie and Puffy were mad at them. Big had just seen the pictures of Pac and Faith together, with everybody spreading rumors of her cheating. And Puffy feared for his life. So he once again tried to get closer to Keefe D and the Southsiders, to make sure that they're always with him whenever he flies to the West Coast. The following day, on December 16th, 1995, Snoop Dogg and the Dogg Pound were in New York to shoot the music video for the song New York, New York, off the Dogg Pound's debut album Dog Food, which had just come out. It was released on October 31st. Biggie heard it and was upset when he found out that they used the beat for his Sanites commercial to make a West Coast banger called New York, New York.
I know you're thinking, well, goddamn, what he drinking? The cookie letter. No other beer feel better.
At the time, Biggie thought that the song New York, New York was supposed to be a diss towards him, the King of New York, and also to the city he was representing. Cause not only did they snatch his beat, but Death Row had just signed Tupac, who allegedly slept with his wife and is now making diss records. No one knew what was about to happen. Bad Boy was already competing with Death Row, so they saw the album Dog Food as a direct response to Biggie's Ready to Die, cause they were going head to head with their album sales. The sales of the Dog Pound album were getting closer and closer to Ready to Die, and they ended up going double platinum way faster than Big.
Oh, they got
it took them less than 3 months, while it took Ready to Die more than a year. But the game still respected Biggie way more than the Dog Pound. Rapping wise, he was just in a league of his own. Death Row was still superior in terms of record sales, but Bad Boy was getting closer and closer. Now with Tupac on board, with all the rumors that were going around, and with Pac's comments in the Vibe magazine, people on the East Coast were nervous about what the hothead Pac would do next. It was rumored that Pac, Snoop, the Dog Pound and Dr. Dre would take the East Coast-West Coast beef to a whole new level, by using Pac's anger, passion and energy as ammo to fire at the East Coast. Back then, rappers and artists were shrouded in mystery. You would only hear from them when they would drop an album, a single or do an interview. You didn't know what these people were thinking or planning. They couldn't just make a tweet and make you understand what they feel like at this very moment. So nobody knew what was about to happen. Both sides were waiting on each other to drop an album, a single or an interview, where one side says something about the other, so that they can respond accordingly. And right now, only Tupac and Suge were the ones wilding out in interviews.
I could enjoy this shit.
So Biggie didn't know what the Dog Pound or Snoop thought about him. Were they agreeing with Tupac's hateful comments towards Bad Boy, or were they just doing their own thing? Biggie didn't know what to expect, but he was cautious and paranoid, cause the man had just ruined his marriage. What is he going to do next? When Big heard that the people from Death Row came to New York to shoot a music video, he thought of the worst, thinking that Pac will shoot the music video to one of his diss tracks against him. In New York,
he did that shit.
Make fun of him in New York in his own territory.
He should have came to New York and dropped that damn hit him up video in goddamn New York.
Showing New Yorkers that he can do anything he wants, that the West Coast is on top, and that the East Coast can't do anything about it. No one wanted to get humiliated and disrespected like that. Especially as the king of New York, he couldn't allow them to do that. He thought he's going to make a music video bragging about sleeping with his wife, while walking through the streets of New York like cowboys, like bosses, as if they owned the place. So he felt like he had to do something, cause he knew how disrespectful Pac could be if he wanted to. A day prior, they beat up the New York record promoter trying to find out where Puffy lives. And now they're in New York doing God knows what. So everyone was on high alert, even though Pac wasn't even there. This video shoot was only for Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound, who were actually friends with Big before Pac got signed to the label. The video set in New York was heightened when the set was fired upon after New Yorkers felt they were being disrespected. When West Coast hip-hop artists flew to New York to film a music video in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast war. The video was originally going to be a dedication to New York, but they thought they would do the exact opposite. The Notorious B.I.G. called up the Hot 97 radio station with Funkmaster Flex and instigated the incident. According to Snoop Dogg, Biggie was the one who called the shots on him, cause they went to see Funk Flex earlier that day to show love and respect, and to say, DPG, we're here shooting a video. We need all you New York rappers to come F with us, cause we love y'all. We're shooting a video at Times Square. We're shooting at Red Hook. Come get down with us. That's what Snoop and the Dog Pound wanted to say on the radio, but Funk Flex wouldn't let them in. They then headed to the video shoot, and Big called up Hot 97.
This shit was planned out though. The more I think about it, the more I keep seeing it. But y'all just went to New York, know y'all beefing and shit. You not New York goddamn. Get down, they get down too. So I'm thinking they were organized. Y'all think that shit was organized for them to go to New York? And to say that we fuck with y'all, and y'all know Tupac don't like the rappers on the East Coast. Am I tripping?
To speak to Flex and everyone listening. On air, he said, "There's a Tupac Dog Pound video in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Brooklyn, stand up. How dare they come out here and record a video dissing New York?" Biggie's main motivation was to get Tupac. The situation between them was so heated that he didn't care about the consequences of those comments, calling for action as the voice of Brooklyn, while the entire city is listening. He most likely did it out of anger towards Tupac, when he wasn't even there. And there's a rumor that Puffy later went to Hot 97 in order to get rid of the evidence that Biggie called the shots on Tupac. And that's supposedly why there's no recording of Biggie calling up the radio and making those comments. Cause Big could have gotten in trouble for that. Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound were all out in the snow in front of the bricks shooting the video. And by the time they went back to the trailer, someone was shooting at it. The trailer got riddled with bullets, but luckily none of them got hit. The Death Row bodyguard Frank Alexander got him out of there safe. He and the Death Row head of security, Reggie Wright, said that Snoop and the Dog Pound were scared like quote-unquote little B-words. When they flew back to LA, they told everyone what happened. Pac and Shook were heated. Sending people and trying to kill artists was a line that they hadn't crossed yet. It became a life or death situation. Both sides were now expecting their enemies to do it again. Catch the other side off guard. Send goons to attack the artists or people associated with them. Put out hits on people and ambush them the first chance they get. The question was, who will fold under the pressure and cross the line first? And how will the other side respond? Snoop, the Dog Pound and Pac were now in F New York mode. They finished the rest of the music video for New York, New York in LA using a green screen. What was supposed to be a dedication to New York, in which they show the beauty of the Mecca of hip-hop, became a disrespectful declaration of war, with them kicking over buildings and walking through the city like Godzilla, trying to cause chaos and destruction. You might remember the July 95 Source magazine cover where they crowned Biggie the King of New York, with him standing next to the World Trade Center while being depicted as a giant the same size as Godzilla. Now fast forward to December 95. Snoop and the Dog Pound are about the same size as him in the music video, stomping on New York while kicking over their buildings, and again, using the same beat as the one for Biggie's commercial. Definitely a subliminal shot at Big, but more importantly an act of disrespect towards the Mecca of hip-hop. Pac was really fed up with New York, cause everything he went through happened in New York. Him getting robbed, threatened by gangsters, getting shot, getting accused of assault, and then also Snoop and the Dog Pound getting their trailer riddled with bullets. All the people who were dissing him and sending shots, everything somehow happened in New York. Every time he goes there, there's trouble. So he was just done. Completely. New Yorkers took offense to the song and made response records to lyrically defend themselves. Like Capone and Noriega's LA LA, for example, which also featured Tragedy Gaddafi and Mobb Deep, initially rapping over the same beat the Dog Pound used. And in the video, they even kidnapped them and threw them over a bridge. Around that same time, Pac and the Dog Pound recorded the New York diss song NY87 with rappers like Deadly Threat and DJ Quick. The song is going at multiple East Coast rappers such as Biggie, Mobb Deep, J-Ro the Damager, Tragedy Gaddafi, Channel Live, and A Tribe Called Quest. You can hear DJ Quick in the intro declaring war on the East Coast.
Yo, this is DJ Quick. Taking a second out with the Dog Pound to let y'all know something. If you're looking in the Source mag and don't see me, it's because them niggas on the East is the enemy.
Corrupt and Daz then basically sum up what happened at the New York video shoot, paraphrasing what Big said on the radio to prevent the Dog Pound from shooting the video in his city, saying that they can't come to New York to shoot videos, and that New Yorkers should go kill them, basically accusing Biggie of conspiracy to commit murder, similar to what Pac accused him of after the Quad Studio shooting.
Hey yo, God, the heads is tripping out in New York. When they can't come down here, shoot no video.
Then they're calling Biggie out by name, saying that he shall holler at Tupac, similar to what Tupac said in the song Holla at Me, where he told his old friends Stretch and Biggie to reach out to him to settle their differences one way or the other. Then they addressed the rumor that had been spreading for the past couple of weeks about Tupac's sleep.
Name is Hip Hop Universe. Hold on, for y'all don't know. It's right. I don't know if you can see it. I need to make it bigger. I'm gonna make it bigger real quick for y'all. Y'all see his name. Where I get most of my documentaries from, huh? Hip Hop Universe. Y'all make sure y'all go like, subscribe to the channel. He do a number hip hop, all hip hop, old hip hop, new hip hop. Hold on, damn. Photo. Hip Hop Universe. You say you never seen this one? He got like, I think he got like 4 different versions. This one's the Tupac versus Biggie, East Coast versus West Coast.
Keeping with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans. The Dog Pound confirmed that those rumors are true. They then asked Biggie and his people if they really want to go to war with him, saying that the same people that set Tupac up tried to set up Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound as well, once again accusing Biggie of setting Pac up. The intro ends with them saying that they might also have sex with Faith Evans as well, just like Pac, because Biggie was saying that they can't come to New York unless they bring him a gift. And the Dog Pound wants to send back his wife with $350 worth of you-know-what down her throat, using her and then sending her back as a gift. People on the East Coast he's cool with, and explains how they influenced him as an MC. Then he uses slick wordplay to diss some of the new rappers and rap groups that came to the forefront during the time when the East Coast West Coast beef really started to get out of control.
Now who the fuck is this I hear on the radio dissing me? B-I-double-G-I to the E.
Then he touches on the incident of Biggie getting on the radio with Funk Flex to diss Pac, Snoop and the Dog Pound before the New York video shoot, saying that he didn't expect to get dissed by a guy like Biggie who he always admired, calling him the deadliest force in New York, the person the city listens to. Because that's what ultimately led to their trailer getting shot up. All it took was Biggie to hop on the radio and say something.
Biggie had that much power back in New York? Anybody here from New York?
They're basically threatening Biggie that there'll be severe consequences if he decides to come to LA. They are ready to return the favor now that they got chased out of New York. Biggie did actually try to come to LA numerous times, and there were always problems for him. They made sure that he can never feel safe there again. The whole reason why Diddy got close with the Southside Crips and Keefe D. But more on that later. Pac starts off by calling out quote-unquote all the dogs and phony rap stars who think that they got rid of him, meaning the robber Dexter Isaac and his 2 friends, Jimmy Henchman, Haitian Jack, Puffy, Biggie, Lil Sean and Stretch, who quote-unquote picked the side of his enemy.
Batman, bootleg, all the swamp meats.
This is probably the only song in which Tupac said F New York and not a specific artist. They were all fed up. From that point on, they would always bring dozens of security guards with them every time they went to New York. They didn't feel safe there, just like how the people from Bad Boy didn't feel safe in LA. Pac also felt like radio hosts on the East Coast like Funkmaster Flex weren't really respecting West Coast MCs. They obviously had an East Coast bias. Were also mad that they wouldn't let Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound get on Hot 97, but then accepted calls from Biggie. The fans were also picking sides, and with them being hotheads at the time, they went on the offensive instead of trying to work things out and make peace. The last song Pac made in '95, where he's talking about Biggie, is No More Pain, which was recorded on December 18th. A lot of gun bars and threats on this one, challenging his jealous adversaries to pull out their guns and blast, promising that he'll murder them. He wants retaliation for what they did to him in New York, calling his shooters and the people involved cowards. In the outro, he then talks about Biggie, starting off by saying, "Come put your mouth on the pistol." The same thing Big said on Who Shot Ya. Oh yeah, to the cowards, You know who I mean. It's still Bad Boy Killer. Fat mother effers, got Down syndrome mother effers, weak ass people, dancers turned effing CEOs. These lines are obviously against Biggie and Puffy. And he said those things in the first version of the song Hit 'Em Up as well, saying that Biggie is a cross-eyed crack baby with Down syndrome. Dancers turned CEOs. Suge Knight was mocking Puffy for that at the 95 Source Awards as well.
Any artists out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the records, dancing. Come to Death Row.
Damn.
Then he responds to the people saying that prison has changed him and messed him up mentally, and that it made him go out of control. Pac believes that prison didn't change him at all. It only made him worse. So all these negative thoughts he had about Biggie, Puffy and Bad Boy prior to going to prison only got worse by him sitting back and thinking everything through, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together in the quest for answers. Now he's giving people the opportunity to pick a side, either with him or against him. And he's ready to go to war against anyone that picks the opposite side.
Oh, I'm missing mine.
In '96, the entire Death Row family continued making diss records about the East Coast. Snoop Dogg was expected to respond as he was technically the biggest rapper on the label at the time. And he recorded a song called Keep It Real Dog, which contains a couple of lines that were aimed at Biggie.
Be on the red eye, you're fat, you're black, you're whack, your style is toe up, plus you got one dead eye.
The line about the dead eye is obviously about Biggie's lazy eye. The entire Death Row crew made fun of him for that. It wasn't just Tupac, cause in recent interviews Snoop, Dre and the Dog Pound always make it seem like Pac was the only one that's out of control. That he was the only one that really went at Biggie. They were all doing it, but later blamed it on the dead man who's not here anymore to defend himself. Rewriting history and pushing the entire blame onto Tupac. I mean, he was definitely the driving force behind it, but everyone else took a part in it.
It ain't hard to tell, but it's easy to see, and even no bad boy fucking up the industry. Go tell them busters up at Bad Boy Records, fat chicks got a big mouth, nigga better check it.
Tupac then put himself on a Dog Pound song called Don't Stop, which originally featured the East Coast rapper Nas. Pac took out Nas's verse and put himself on it to diss Biggie. He wanted to stop giving East Coast rappers a platform. This was around the time Tupac didn't tolerate any form of shout-out to the East Coast. Cause Tupac and the Outlaws beat up Dr. Dre's ghostwriter Jay Flex and his homies after they gave Brooklyn a shout-out on one of their songs. And they did the same to the rapper Sam Snead after he put rappers from the East Coast in his music video. Sam Snead and Jay Flex were all Death Row associates, but they still got beaten up. Pac took it very seriously. More on that in my Dr. Dre and Tupac beef analysis. So yeah, Tupac didn't want to give East Coast rappers any more promo or exposure. Calling himself a bad boy killer and Biggie annihilator, saying that he'll kill Biggie, that he shall, because one day he'll come get him, hitting him with 2 Glocks and leaving him with scar tissue. He wants to go one-on-one with Biggie, lyrically or physically, doesn't matter.
He can't go lyrically,
promising that he'll kill him regardless of where he wants to take it, gunplay, fistfight or rap battle. But this verse mainly focuses on gun talk, saying that he'll spill Biggie's brain and that another Bad Boy affiliated rapper was killed. And he doesn't stop there. He wants to go to his funeral and also kill everyone associated with him. Everyone who came there to pay their respects, showing that he has no mercy for any of them, and that he's ready to fight dirty. Daz also produced Pac's song First to Bomb, where he's going at Biggie, Puffy and the East Coast as a whole.
right out the gate, get up your side.
They also recorded Only Move for the Money together.
We never heard this song.
On January 7th, 1996, the music video to Junior Mafia's hit single Get Money was released. And it featured the rapper Charlie Baltimore dressed up as Biggie's wife, Faith Evans.
Damn.
Big and Faith were still separated and had little to no contact. He was sending subliminal shots towards her in that video, kissing Charlie Baltimore on the lips, making his infidelity public at a time when everyone accused Faith of cheating, showing the world that he replaced her with a woman that looks just like her. Same hair color, same outfit, same looks. But again, in the video she's supposed to depict Faith Evans, and they're showcasing their tumultuous relationship, which ultimately leads to Biggie kicking her out the house, subliminally telling everyone that he and Faith are no more, showing them that he got his masculinity back, after Pac tried to emasculate him and destroy his player image. This was Biggie's strategy to counter Pac's efforts in the most passive way possible. He wanted to show the world that he's indeed a player, someone who can get a new girl by just snapping with his fingers. Show people that Faith is replaceable, that players don't simp for any woman, especially not cheers, that they just move on to the next one. Showing people that Pac didn't do any damage, that he's not even on his radar, that he's not the type to worry about a girl, as they're all lining up for him. There's nothing fake about the player image. Big is just making money and enjoying life, without a single thing to worry about. On January 9th, he then recorded the song Homeboys, on which he said,
It's a goddamn shame. Somebody explain why they send a bad boy to play a grown man's game.
This is actually an advice that he got from Suge Knight. He said Pac picking on Bad Boy, Biggie and Puffy is like a grown man picking on little kids who can't defend themselves. He's asking them why they're trying to play a grown man's game. They shall stay in their lane, or Pac will quote-unquote tear that ass out the frame. On January 12th, Pac recorded a song called If My Enemies Love Their Kids, which contains shots at Puffy. Pac is mocking Puff by pointing out Suge's relationship with Puffy's baby mama Misa Hilton, saying that Pac could sleep with her too if he wanted to. Puffy is on the top of Pac's kill list. This whole song is basically a warning and a death threat. A day later, on January 13th, Pac recorded the song He vs. She with the rapper Storm. It contains shots at Biggie, Puffy, Lil' Kim, Da Brat, Lil Sean and LL Cool J. Again, the whole reason why Pac went at L is because of the song I Shot Ya, which was a response to Biggie's Who Shot Ya. Pac thought LL was going at him too, so that's why he kept sending shots at him in response. But his main targets were of course the people associated to Bad Boy.
Now when I say Big, you say B.I.G. When I say Bad Boy Killer, you say me. When I say Puffy, it's a punk, you scream word on my life. I wrote this bitch, my fucking Big's wife.
Calling Biggie a pig and Puffy a punk while also
Another one.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
bragging about sleeping with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans. They also had lines for Lil' Kim and Da Brat.
What? Really?
She not.
This was a direct response to Da Brat's line in Total song No One Else.
The decoy watch Brat kill and destroy you the last one to work so death and bad boy.
Be the first ones to fuck with you and bad boy. Busters who Brooklyn looking my shots to Queens, cause I'm looking for Lil Sean, that your jazz queen.
Lil Sean was one of the people that were present during the Quad Studio shooting, and the only person who tried to help him according to Tupac himself. The only one that shed tears for him. But in the Vibe interview, he called Pac stupid and a liar for saying that he was crying the whole time. So that's why he kept dissing Sean.
I made screen like last year. Let's don't come to California, we don't want your bust ass here.
On January 14th, the previously mentioned New York Times article with Pac talking about his relationship with Faith Evans came out and brought back quite a bit of emotions for Biggie, since he kept learning new things about his wife's relationship with his biggest enemy. Things that she kept a secret from him. Faith never told him that she was actually that close with Pac, that she would buy him trunks full of gifts. Big just couldn't catch a break. Pac would always reopen his wounds by making fun of him and his wife in the media. In magazines, in newspapers, on the radio.
I thought about something, chat. You think when we got a new Tupac album, because you know, they probably still all, you say recorded 200 damn songs, they probably all dissing goddamn Diddy. And Diddy probably got them paid them folk not release them motherfuckers. Think about it. Think about it.
Video on TV, he couldn't escape it. What made it even worse is that the only times he would speak to her, he would catch her in lies, as she was only trickle-truthing. This was also around the time Faith saw the video to get money.
After that magazine shit they did,
Faith got mad when she saw the video, and they sent each other messages to talk about it. Cause they had went low contact after she caught him cheating, and then they went no contact after the incident with Pac happened. Biggie called Faith to come visit him in New Orleans, so that they can talk it out. They had an argument and fight in winter '96, which somehow led to Faith's pregnancy. Biggie's son, Christopher Jordan Wallace, who was born 9 months later on October 29th. At the time, people were speculating if the kid might have been Tupac's. But that would have been impossible since the two never saw each other after November '95. Big and Faith agreed to co-parent their child once he's born, but their relationship never recovered. Tupac ruined Big's marriage, regardless of Big believing his claims of sleeping with his wife.
Come on now.
The trust.
Come on now. Come on now.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the
That nigga cheated with Lil Kim first. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now.
He couldn't take it. How you gonna cheat for her and then she cheat back and you all broken and shit?
And Spark was gone.
That is how the game
Big
goes.
thought of the possibility that she might have cheated on him as revenge for him cheating with Lil Kim and Charlie Baltimore. But according to Lil C's, he did later believe Faith's version of the story, that she didn't sleep with him. But the gossip on the streets made it impossible for him to just move on and to continue being all lovey-dovey with her. Nobody believed Faith's side of the story, except Big. But Big also said that he always believed that Pac is the realest guy in the industry. It wasn't just anyone making those claims. Things just couldn't go back to how they were. The image of Big and Faith being hip-hop's dream couple was crushed. And Big was seen as a weak man who wifed up a promiscuous cheater that would open her legs even for his biggest enemies, and then come back to play the innocent and faithful wife. So he couldn't stay with her, even if Pac was a liar. Pac had successfully convinced the entire world that he slept with Biggie's wife, and the baby that was on the way made things 10 times more complicated. So in the end they decided to stay friends, but they wanted to stay in separate places, with Faith promising him that she'll stay faithful and focus on the kids. Big, on the other hand, continued.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. No bullshit, bro.
Continued to see other women. They didn't know if they wanted to get divorced yet. The media and fans continued to bombard them with questions, being a nuisance during her entire pregnancy.
Press the media was like on some. She stopped with Tupac. I'm not no different than any other. You know, everybody has.
Tell me about it, twin. Tell me about it. Is she hard?
I asked him. No. All right. I can't get to ask him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, okay, well, it's all up to me. Am I going to hate her for the rest of her life thinking that she did something? Or am I just going to be a man about the situation? If you did it, you can't do it no more. You know what I'm saying? And let's just go on with our lives. Or am I going to say, if you did it, I hate you, I'll never speak to you again. I'm not that type of person. I hold grudges, but I can't hate nobody. Right. That's just not in my nature.
It's just in my nature to love you. I can't hate you because it's not in my nature to hate you.
Personally, I was angry. I know that I was at the hospital with his mother when he had got shot in that studio. And why are you doing that?
Later on, in the September 96 issue of the Vibe magazine, Biggie said, "People was like, when she stopped effing with Big, she started effing with Tupac, and Big started effing with Lil' Kim. That's the summary of the Biggie Smalls Faith ish right there. But we wasn't effing with each other way before the rumors popped off. I married her after knowing her for 8 days, and I was happy. That was my..."
Nigga said 8 days. The fuck? That's a whole damn weekend in one day. She put that fire on his head. That's what it was. She still got that fire.
Baby.
At the same time, us being so spontaneous, we did it backwards, you know? Regardless, we both admit, maybe she may not admit it, but I admit it.
She look like she's Spanish though.
Me and you so quick to marry you and get learning to know you, I should learn to know you.
She the fuck out of me.
All the time we was together, we was learning to know each other. She found out things about me she ain't like. I found out things about her we ain't like. And eventually the relationship kind of dissolved. She showing we ain't together right now, but we tight. We still gonna be friends. Mm-hmm. I love her. You know what I'm saying? She love me. We love our son, and we gonna always love our kids, and we gonna do whatever we gotta do. Who knows? 10 years from now, we might get back together.
Big implied that the marriage failing was partly his fault. It would have happened regardless of Pac's involvement. On January 18th, Pac then recorded the song This Life I Lead, where he once again calls himself a bad boy killer.
Bad boy killer.
On January 19th, Tupac and the Outlaws went to the House of Blues to see the rap group Onyx perform. There they met the rapper Keith Murray, the guy who was not only on the first version of Who Shot Ya, but also on LL Cool J's I Shot Ya, and also on the remix of course. Pac wanted to know if they were dissing him. Pac's homie Big Syke was actually the one that approached him, while Onyx was performing on stage. Fred Rostar saw Pac and Keith Murray come face to face, and the two started yelling at each other. Keith denied that Pac was their target. Biggie unknowingly caused a lot of conflicts between Pac and various rappers from the East Coast, just with one song alone. That's how powerful and controversial it was. Cause again, I Shot Ya was a response to Who Shot Ya. But they made peace that day, and Pac was definitely relieved, cause he never really wanted to go to war with LL Cool J. But he still saw everyone on I Shot Ya as potential enemies. That included Prodigy from Mobb Deep, Foxy Brown from Nas's group The Firm, and everyone else who was in that music video. Cause the song was actually supposed to be something like a New York anthem, with all the different cliques coming together. And Pac initially thought that all the cliques from New York were coming together to diss him, and to side with Biggie during the East Coast-West Coast war. Cause Pac had become the face of the West Coast and Biggie the face of the East Coast. So he thought I Shot Ya was a part 2 to Big's Who Shot Ya. But Keith Murray denied it and prevented it from escalating any further. Cause as you could hear on the song NY87, Pac was in F New York mode. And he was ready to diss everybody if he had to.
Hey, Junior Mock, we got some for your motherfucking ass.
On the song Never Call You Be Again, which he recorded 12 days later on January 31st, he mentioned his beef with the East Coast. He explicitly said East Coast, cause he was ready to take on everybody.
Love, brother. I appreciate you more. I'll see you next time.
That same day, he recorded the song Breathing, where he said,
nice work. Oh, day at work, bro.
The mission was to end the careers of his enemies on the East Coast, to outsell everyone in the game with his upcoming double album, while dropping the biggest diss records ever. He's murdering his competition, making him the last man standing, or in other words, the last man breathing. The second verse was unfinished, but he still mentioned Bad Boy and them preying on his downfall. In the February 96 issue of the Vibe magazine, it seemed like Pac was trying to de-escalate the situation between him and Biggie. He was asked about the rumors of him sleeping with Faith Evans, to which Pac responded, "Me and Faith don't have no problems." When asked about their relationship beyond the studio, he replied, "I ain't gonna answer that ish, man. You know I don't kiss and tell." The whole energy he had on the first version of Hit 'Em Up somehow disappeared, cause on that song he was actually bragging about it. He didn't want to put out any of the songs he made where he mentions Big's wife, and in interviews he was only implying it indirectly, trying to look like a serious businessman who's too classy to brag about it, only dropping hints and comments with double meanings behind them, so that the fans and the media could continue speculating, only saying things like, "Faith is my girl, I treated her good, and we don't have any problems." In the studio, he was way more reckless, saying things like, "I effed your wife." But those tapes didn't come out yet. He was holding them back and waiting for Biggie's next move. Things changed quickly after hearing the response from Biggie. Cause on February 3rd, they released the remix to Junior Mafia's hit single Get Money, which includes shots at Tupac. And this song was actually genius. When Biggie's wife, Faith Evans, came back to New York after spending time with Tupac, and after Big and Faith more or less reconciled in winter 96, she told Big about the beat Pac played for her, so that Big can prepare himself for what Pac has planned and then sabotage him. In the studio, Pac was hyping the beat up, saying that it'll be one of his biggest songs on his album. Lance on Rivera, DJ Enough, and Biggie quickly recognized the sample Faith was talking about, the one Johnny J used for Hit 'Em Up. Cause again, Pac played it for her when they were in the studio together, and the sample was Don't Look Any Further, which they decided to use before Pac to sabotage him. They produced a similar beat to what Faith described, and used it for the Get Money remix, cause they knew that Pac's album was just about to drop. February 13th was the date for Pac's huge comeback, so they decided to drop the Get Money remix 10 days prior. Biggie wanted to put a song on the radio which sounded just like the track Pac wanted to put on All Eyes on Me, expecting that he'll use the beat Faith heard for his next single. They expected Hit 'Em Up to be on All Eyes on Me. So Big did the same thing he did in 94, when he used the same sample.
Hold on, twin. So folk in the movie, they dropped Hit 'Em Up. They ain't know, they act like they ain't know that shit, but they knew it. They confused the fuck out of me. Hold on. So he did know he was gonna drop a diss song about his wife. Am I tripping? That's what I'm getting from right here.
For Tupac's Time to Get My Drank On for his hit single Big Papa, before Tupac even has a chance to use that song. According to Little C's, they knew that Pac would lyrically take aim at them on his next album All Eyes on Me. What they didn't know is that Pac used the beat Faith heard for a Biggie diss track, not for a club banger. Faith thought Hit 'Em Up would be a party record.
Yeah, we about to go ahead and get your ass out of here. Come on. Yep, for everyone today. Ain't no damn free pop, nigga. May he got them rotting that motherfucker. I can't wait till he got them, you know what I'm saying? May he rest and shit. Yeah, we gotta get that out of there. Sorry about that, chick.
And that's why Biggie and Junior Mafia wanted to turn it into a smooth, laid-back club record. But Pac, by this time, had already decided to exclude the first version of Hit 'Em Up from the album. He had actually given up on the idea to release it, thinking that he had humiliated Biggie enough already, with those pictures of Faith and Pac floating around, and the media turning it into the biggest topic in hip-hop. People were trying to tell Tupac to slow down, that it's all a misunderstanding, as Biggie would have never done anything sneaky like dissing him on a song like Who Shot Ya, and making fun of him for getting shot. And that the whole thing about Biggie setting him up is a misunderstanding.
Nigga, when you locked up, you should never drop the damn song Who Shot You, bro. That was that dumb as hell. Nigga, we don't got no sense for you, Biggie. You deserve the shit. You thought his ass gonna be in there, You thought you were gonna get away with that shit. You ain't expect his ass to get out. That's how I
is attacking a man who's completely innocent, which makes him the one that's in the wrong. And they were all saying that Biggie is not even responding, that he wants peace. But the Get Money remix convinced him to go ahead with his initial plans to do the Hit 'Em Up song, cause he had scrapped the first version and didn't want to use it. Pac understood what Biggie and Puffy were trying to do with that remix. He understood that they were trying to sabotage him again, so he stopped having mercy for them. Her decision to tell Biggie and Puffy made Pac go back in the booth and redo the song, but this time more brutal. He even started insulting Faith, cause he knew that she was the one that told Big about the sample. Biggie was the first one to make a move, lyrically, cause none of the songs Tupac made about Biggie had been released so far. The Get Money remix was retaliation for what Pac did with Faith, but they once again kept it subliminal. The remix starts off with Lil C's asking Tupac and the Outlaws how they could possibly think that they could ever have a negative effect on Biggie, Junior Mafia and the money they pull in, implying that they're unstoppable, and that they will forever continue to get gold and platinum plaques, regardless of who's trying to stop them.
How you figure that your team can affect my cream? Gold and platinum plaques since I stepped on the scene, now I mean.
Both Lil Kim and Lil C's have a verse on here, and that's part of the reason why they later became a target on Hit 'Em Up, cause the other members of Junior Mafia didn't get called out by names. They gave C's and Kim special attention. Big then comes in verse number 3, starting off with slick talk and double entendres.
All that and the bottle of Don P. Can't harm me, I keep the on me.
This part right here includes 4 references. Dom P, obviously the alcoholic drink Dom Perignon, but also the name of Lil Sean's song, in which he sampled Biggie. Those two were also in the Dom Perignon music video next to people wearing henchman shirts. Again, Jimmy Henchman was the mastermind behind the Quad Studio shooting. Biggie was still hanging out with him after the shooting. And Lil Sean was the guy Tupac was supposed to do a song with that night he got shot. Next, he uses the word army. The people who robbed Pac at the Quad Studios wore army fatigues. Not only that, but Big is also kinda talking about them as if they're his people, which is what Tupac initially thought when he saw them, according to the Vibe magazine interview. Pac made it seem like the robbers could have been Biggie's homies. The accusations, of course, infuriated him, cause Pac literally said they looked like Biggie's homies from Brooklyn, and Biggie plays with that in the next line by asking, "Is Brooklyn in the house?" Immediately after using the word army, he uses the word Brooklyn. Was that a coincidence? Cause Pac's robbers in army fatigues were indeed from Brooklyn.
Can't harm me, I keep the on me. Is Brooklyn in the house? Without a doubt.
He also said people can't harm him, in response to Tupac constantly taking jabs at him. And he was the main one doing it at the time. So these lines were definitely aimed at Pac. Again, Dom P, harm me, army, is Brooklyn in the house. He chose his words wisely. He knew exactly that Pac would understand what he's trying to do. And he did, cause he paid close attention to that. While everyone else was busy telling him that he's just overanalyzing things, that it's all a reach, that Biggie is innocent and could never do him wrong, Pac saw them as deceitful, two-faced, manipulative snakes. I mean, Puffy always managed to make himself and his people look like innocent angels, in contrast to the big bully, tyrant and devil Suge Knight. And Tupac, who's completely out of control. While Pac and Suge were always direct, Puff and Big loved responding subliminally, while pulling strings behind the scenes without anyone noticing. That's why Puff always said that bad boys move in silence.
Without a doubt, I'm the rapper with clout, everybody yap about.
Who was the one quote-unquote yapping about Biggie every chance he got? Tupac, of course.
Check it out, guns I bust 'em. Problems with my wife, don't discuss them.
Biggie's infidelity, followed by Faith's alleged affair with Tupac, changed their relationship forever. And Biggie was getting tired of it, always getting brought up wherever he went. It was of course hurting him, and he just wanted to move on. So he's telling Pac and the media to stop talking about his wife and his relationship with her.
Fingerprints I dust them, recent address. Stuck it for your stash in your pissy mattress.
The part about the recent address could be about the incident with Mark Bell at the Christmas party in December '95, where Pac, Suge, and the Mob Peru beat up the Bad Boy associate in an attempt to find out Puffy's recent address. Stuck you for your stash in your pissy mattress, another way of saying he robbed him, and possibly another reference to the Quad Studio shooting. Cause people saw it as Biggie admitting, or at least making it seem like he was partly involved in the robbery, just to piss off Tupac, who was already accusing him. Or it could also be something completely unrelated. Just him rapping about his life as a drug lord.
Your mom's the actress, didn't want to show me the safe. It's okay, she was old anyway.
I know that I was at the hospital with his mom when he had got shot in that studio.
Your mom's the actress, didn't want to show me the safe.
This could be about Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur, who was a political activist and a member of the Black Panther Party. Biggie called her an actress, just like her son after the Quad Studio incident. Cause that's what Biggie and everyone else said about Pac in the Vibe magazine. That he was acting and being overdramatic. That everything was a movie to him. That he refused to hand over his jewelry. And Biggie is saying that Pac's mom is refusing to show him the safe. That she's as rebellious and stubborn as her son. Joking about her starting to be dramatic like in a movie, when Biggie tries to rob her. So Big had to kill her.
It's okay, she was old anyway, I display. Hot 97 round ready, cock Mac 11 line steady.
It's interesting that he mentioned Hot 97 after going on air to call the shots on Snoop and the Dogg Pound. Tons of lines that could have double meanings behind them. That's what Biggie was known for. Somehow all the keywords he used could be linked to an incident that's part of the beef. I don't think it was all a coincidence. This is the same song that interpolates lines from Shabba Ranks' song Don't Test Me, which the rap group OGC had interpolated before him, in the song The Storm, which they performed at the Palladium when Biggie and Junior Mafia were present.
Nah, we need to go back to the first. Go back to the first.
After Big stole it from OGC and used it before their album came out, the entire Boot Camp clique started to have an issue with him and picked the side of Tupac in the beef. The supergroup Boot Camp clique included the subgroups OGC, Helter Skelter, Black Moon, and Smith & Wesson. And they were now allies of Tupac and going to war against Biggie.
That was a song.
And Big, of course, had a problem with that, cause they were in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast beef, and the people who are supposed to be on his sides are teaming up with the enemy. He saw them as traitors. Puffy and Biggie were supposedly responsible for blackballing them. They all of a sudden had problems with the record label. Word then got back to Pac about Biggie becoming something like a gatekeeper for New York hip-hop, and he wanted to do something about it with Suge Knight's Death Row East, which was supposed to be Death Row's label branch on the East Coast. Cause he thought Biggie has full control over who becomes popular and who stays underground, just through his connections in the industry and his influence, blackballing people behind the scenes and pulling strings. He thought Biggie had that much power in New York, and Pac wanted to change that by creating a divide within New York itself, so that the king of New York, Biggie, loses his power and influence. So Pac later tried to reach out, be cool, and pull rappers and rap groups from New York to his side, promising to sign them to Death Row East in exchange for their loyalty against Biggie and Bad Boy. People like the rap legend Big Daddy Kane, for example, who rejected the offer cause he didn't want to be part of the beef. But Pac had more luck with rappers and rap groups who are considered underground, people that were easy to blackball. And both sides kinda understood what they were trying to do. Biggie and Pac would try to get as many rappers on their side as possible. There were some who were Team Biggie and others who were Team Pac. But yeah, Biggie couldn't stand the Boot Camp clique, and he wanted to sabotage their careers. And the Boot Camp clique didn't like him either. A couple months later, on October 29th, they actually released a music video to the song No Fear, which featured actors who were supposed to look like Biggie and Faith. Rock from Helter Skelter actually threw Biggie off the stage. They did that not only to get back at Biggie for biting them, but also to show that they're still loyal to Pac, even after his death. But this would eventually lead to Sterang Wonder from OGC getting jumped by the members of Junior Mafia at the D&D studios. More on this in the King of New York documentary. On February 13th, Tupac's double album All Eyes on Me was finally released, and it did crazy.
Give me a hell yeah.
Numbers. It was his second #1 album in a row and sold 566,000 copies in the first week, while Biggie's Ready to Die had only shipped 57,000 units. So Pac was back on top and became the #1 rapper in the game. He went 5 times platinum in just 2 months, something that no rapper on Bad Boy had accomplished yet. Ready to Die was stuck at double platinum. Pac was the biggest thing in '96. He was everywhere, was putting hits on the radio almost every month, dominating the charts, while also working on hundreds of songs for future albums. All while the East Coast was waiting for Biggie to come back, cause Pac was dropping albums back to back. It took Biggie way more time. He only had 1 album and a group album. Wasn't even halfway done with his sophomore album. This worked in Pac's favor, as he could dominate the charts, grow his fanbase, and take shots at Bad Boy while the whole world is convinced that Biggie is shook. Too scared to respond, taking so long with his album because he can't make bangers as fast as Pac. People were belittling Biggie and attacking him from all angles. He had dropped a group album just a couple months ago, but All Eyes on Me blew that away, and the fans expected Biggie to drop again to compete with him. 1995 was Biggie's year to shine, but '96 was Pac's year. He took Biggie's crown, with Pac outselling him in no time. He made the biggest rapper on the East Coast look like an ant, cause remember, it took Biggie a whole year to go double platinum, while Pac went 5 times platinum in just 2 months. So Pac didn't see Biggie as competition,
5 times is crazy.
at least sales-wise,
Shout out to the greatest.
and he rubbed it in his face in multiple interviews. On February 17th, Tupac flew to New York to perform at Saturday Night Live. He wanted to show everyone that he's not scared of coming to the East Coast, even after the 2 shootings in New York, while Biggie and Puffy are quote-unquote scared of coming to LA, which in Pac's opinion showed who was truly in power and in control of the rap beef, bragging about how he can come to the East Coast whenever he wants, while the people from Bad Boy can't come to the West.
I'm gonna be in LA. I got to pump mine. You do? I got to sling my album. I'm gonna be there. They feel like they could come into it like dissing Big and dissing Puff and doing their little thing. If that's what they choose to do, that's what they choose to do. But I know one thing I got to do is feed Tiana and take care of Miss Wallace. You know what I'm saying? And that's my only job. I mean, I'm making music for the people. If y'all love the music, y'all gonna buy the music. But please, all you MCs out there, all you fans out there, don't think Big gonna make a record dissing Tupac or the West Coast, because it's not going down like that. I can't even see me wasting my time or my talent. Right. You know what I'm saying? To disrespect another black man. He do his thing. I'm gonna continue to make my joints, man. I put a dent up in this joint, you know? I'm gonna make my album. That's how I'm gonna prove myself this year. I'm gonna make a whole tight album without saying nothing about the West or Tupac or Suge or Dre, or they do their thing and I'm gonna do my thing. You know what I'm saying? But if it's ever a confrontation between the two, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna handle that when we see each other, you know what I'm saying? But as far as musically, cool.
All right, I understand that your album is going to be dropping in July, right?
Yeah, hopefully in July. I mean, be ready for July, but I might want to do some more songs or something.
All right, because I was checking out the Bad Boy tape, and Puff Daddy was letting everybody know, eventually it's going to drop sometime in July.
Yeah, July 4th, we're going to drop it. So.
Pac then appeared on the March '96 issue of the Source magazine. He spoke on the beef with Big and explained how it all happened. I was putting Biggie on. What killed it was Biggie got put on. Biggie was in Thug Life. He used to be like, Thug Life, Thug Life. He used to be like, F Bad Boy. I hate Puffy. I ain't effing with him. Sign me, Pac. I just ain't have no chips for the guy and I wasn't gonna lie to him. He made his album and I was making my album. This is before Me Against the World came out. I used to hear his tracks. He used to hear my tracks. Our styles were totally different. My ish was on some I'm about to die, like you hear me on Me Against the World. But it was even a lot more ish about death. This guy album come out, Ready to Die, it's all my album. And Biggie used to sit up there and ask me, how do you do them choruses? You the hook man. How you do this? How you do that? I used to tell that guy, don't do none of that gangsta ish. You better get at these females. Because the females buy your tape. The guys buy your tape because the females want the tape.
That's the
And
to this
look,
day, chat.
he came out on some
Shout out to
big
the 50
papa
people in
ish.
here. I appreciate y'all.
That's straight up robbery. But even after that, long as he was my homeboy, that was okay. But soon as he started acting like he was his own man, they knew that I was at the point where I couldn't just ride on people. I had like 50 gun cases, 30 assault cases, and they didn't have none. So they was plotting. To the question how his beef with Biggie turned into an East Coast West Coast thing, he said, I'm from the East Coast. That's why I can feel like this. To my peoples in New York who got love for me, ignore this. Don't even trip. But they attacking me in such mass amounts that I can't no longer call these people's names out. And they all coming from New York. That's where I gotta start banging. But even after all this happened, Dre, Snoop and the Pound made peace with Puffy on stage at the Source Awards. Biggie got on the radio saying, this is where them guys is at. They making a video dissing New York. Y'all need to get at them. People rolled down there and got with them. Funkmaster Flex, all them guys who was riding on the radio, and some people went down there and handled their wax. But nobody got hurt, fortunately. But see, all they did was step this ish up a level. How did Biggie's wife Faith get into all this? Because them people be on the radio and in their records and on the videos acting like players. Didn't Biggie say he was a player? Baby, baby. Stole my lyrics, I stole his B. Took my rhymes, I took his wife. He touched my style, I touched his wife.
Let him cook.
If he talk all that ish about being a player, and I got at his wife 2 days after I got out of jail, imagine that gangster ish he's talking. How plastic that ish is. So as you can see, after hearing the Get Money remix, Pac became more and more relentless in his interviews. Cause he wasn't really using profanity when talking about Biggie's wife. At least not in his interviews. He's way more aggressive now. On March 7th, Pac continued going at Biggie and other rappers on the East Coast. He recorded the diss track When We Ride on Our Enemies, which was aimed at the groups Fugees, Mobb Deep and also Biggie. In the second verse he said, Tupac felt betrayed and double-crossed by Biggie, who he believed knew he shot him. When he said crossing the game, he meant not playing by the rules of the game. And that's exactly what he thought of the Bad Boy entourage when they allegedly set up the robbery and shooting.
Say goodbye, watch my eyes when I pull the trigger. So right before you die, you bow before a bigger nigga. Now try your eyes.
In Pac's view, it's only right for him to retaliate in the same manner, by dominating and eradicating the competition in the rap game. On the song Who Shot Ya, Big rapped about putting his gun into the mouth of one of his victims who chose to mess with him. He killed him while the victim begged for mercy. Pac wants to give him the exact same treatment.
Come here. Open your, did I tell you don't fuck with me? Huh? Did I tell you not to fuck with me?
Now try your eyes. You was heartless on your hits. Niggas love to scream peace after they saw some shit.
Biggie was indeed heartless on his hits, like on Gimme the Loot for example, where he's talking about robbing and shooting a pregnant lady. That whole mafioso ice-cold killer image. Songs like Who Shot Ya, where he's making people beg for mercy who have a gun in their mouth. Pac is now asking how he can scream peace after doing songs like that. How they can squash the beef after all the things he did.
Pay attention, here's a word to those that rob me. I murder you, then I run a train on my beef. Don't fuck with me.
Sending a threat to those that robbed him. Dexter Isaac, his two homies Spunk and JD, King Tut, who he believed was one of the shooters, Haitian Jack, Jimmy Henchman, and everyone who knew what happened but refused to help Pac. That same day, he recorded the song You Don't Have to Worry with the Outlaws. This is the song where Tupac supposedly admitted to have given orders of killing someone after getting shot 5 times. And that someone, as explained earlier, was widely speculated to be Pac's old friend Big Stretch, who died exactly a year after the Quad Studio shooting. The next lines kinda confirm that he's talking about an old friend who was there from day one. Cause Pac and Stretch met in 1990, when he hadn't even started his solo career. He was still a member of the group Digital Underground.
Yeah.
I fed their wife and their daughters. Pac is talking about Faith Evans and both Biggs and Stretch's daughters, who he always bought presents and took care of like an uncle. He really saw Biggie and Stretch as
Hold on, y'all. Y'all saying the echoing? Is I'm echoing now? Or is the dude in the back, the documentary echoing? Is I'm echoing now? Or is the dude? Hold on, let me see.
brothers. Pac even gave Stretch money so that he can take care of his kids, even babysitted her. Big was gonna quit rapping and go back to dealing drugs around the time his girlfriend got pregnant.
Damn, why is it? I might got two of them up. Let's see. I don't got windows. I ain't got that motherfucker open. Let me mute this shit. Cause it's on the screen recorder. I don't know if I got two of these bitches open. Let's see. Oh shit, fucked up.
Pac stopped him and put some money in his pockets. Took him on shows so that he can make some cash until his deal with Puffy works out. Paid their bills, bought them food, toys and presents for the kids. But he also said that he fed their wives.
Alright, bet. Let me take it off the thing.
Talking about Faith Evans. Do you know exactly what Pac fed Faith Evans that night when they slept together? Once again, Pac.
I don't know what the fuck I just did. Let me take it off screen recording now. Let me mute that. Hold on, mute that. And just put Windows up and see if that fixes it.
I understand that your album is going to be dropping in July, right?
Yeah, hopefully in July. I mean, be ready for July, but I might want to do some more songs or something.
Alright, because I was checking out the Bad Boy tape, and Puff Daddy was letting everybody know, eventually it's going to drop sometime in July.
July 4th, we're going to drop the joint.
Pac then appeared on the March 96 issue of the Source magazine. He spoke on the beef with Big and explained how it all happened. I was put
It's still echoing, y'all? Hold on. Go back where we were just at.
his gun into the mouth of one of his victims who chose to mess with him. He killed him while the victim begged for mercy. Pac wants to give him the exact same treatment.
Did I tell you open me? Did I tell you
Biggie was indeed heartless on his hits, like on Gimme the Loot for example, where he's talking about robbing and shooting a pregnant lady. That whole mafioso ice-cold killer image. Songs like Who Shot Ya, where he's making people beg for mercy who have a gun in their mouth. Pac is now asking how he can scream peace after doing songs like that. How they can squash the beef after all the things he did. Sending a threat to those that robbed him. Dexter Isaac, his two homies Spunk and JD, King Tut, who he believed was one of the shooters, Haitian Jack, Jimmy Henchman, and everyone who knew what happened but refused to help Pac. That same day, he recorded the song You Don't Have to Worry with the Outlaws. This is the song where Tupac supposedly admitted to have given orders of killing someone after getting shot 5 times. And that someone, as explained earlier, was widely speculated to be Pac's old friend Big Stretch, who died exactly a year after the Quad Studio shooting. The next lines kinda confirm that he's talking about an old friend who was there from day one. Cause Pac and Stretch met in 1990, when he hadn't even started his solo career. He was still a member.
Let me check a window. Can't be that. I want to make sure my Twitch not open. It's muted. Let me take all this shit off there. Technical shit you gotta deal with when you got a PC, bro. Shit that be happening out of nowhere. System volume. We can't take that off. Like, what the fuck is Emma? What the fuck is this? I'm gonna take all this shit off. That's Twitter.
Member of the group Digital Underground. I fed their wife and their daughters. Pac is talking about Faith Evans and both Biggs and Stretch's daughters, who he always bought presents and took care of like an uncle. He really saw Biggie and Stretch as his brothers. Pac even gave Stretch money so that he can take care of his kids, even babysitted her. Big was gonna quit rapping and go back to dealing drugs around the time his girlfriend got pregnant. Pac stopped him and put some money in his pockets. Took him on shows so that he can make some cash until his deal with Puffy works out. Paid their bills, bought them food, toys and presents for the kids. But he also said that he fed their wives. Talking about Faith Evans. You know exactly what Pac fed Faith Evans that night when they slept together.
I appreciate it.
Once again, Pac bragging about sleeping with Biggie's wife, Faith Evans. He did it even after getting shot in the groin area. His enemies were making fun of him for shooting himself in the balls, spreading rumors of him losing a testicle, which he actually didn't. His wound sealed, and according to Idi Amin from the Outlaws, Pac still had both testicles while he was recovering. But people at the time were making fun of Pac for only having one testicle left. He addressed it again in the next song called Ghetto Star, which he recorded a day later on March 8th. His haters on the East Coast started to call him One Pac, and there were rumors that that's the angle Biggie wanted to use to come back at him lyrically. Like, look, how can you say you slept with my wife when you only have one testicle? And Pac was already writing lines in response to that, as a counter. This was around the time they started promoting his upcoming album Life After Death. on which he wanted to lyrically respond to him. So New Yorkers were waiting for him to make a comeback. And Pac is telling him to bring it on, saying that he'll get killed when he rides by.
They shouldn't drive me, send their bodies to their parents up north. With their faces, they wrists and they nuts cut off.
On March 22nd, Dr. Dre officially left Death Row Records to found his new label Aftermath Entertainment. He would later collaborate with various New York MCs and even make peace with Biggie, which of course upset Tupac a lot. That same month, Snoop met Biggie as well in Atlanta at a hotel. He went there with Daz Dillinger and was greeted by Lil Cease, who then brought them to Biggie's hotel room after Snoop told him that he wants to holler at him. Big opened the door and gave them a hug. They smoked some weed together and Snoop confronted him about the shooting in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Big couldn't say anything to justify his actions. Snoop told him, "I know you called that shot on me. They missed. I forgive you." Snoop felt like no one got hit, so he let it go. The Crips didn't.
Bitch. Ooh, I can't stand a Snoop Dogg, bro.
Really have real motivation to get involved now, cause Snoop forgave him and that was that. When he went back to LA and told Pac about it, Pac was confused on how he could forgive them like that. Cause remember, Pac thought Big and Puff knew who shot him, and didn't tell him on purpose. They blamed Big Jake's death on Puffy as well, and they almost got Snoop and the Dog Pound killed. Pac was all about that loyalty. He was there when his Pyru friends needed help, and also for all the Crips on his team. First thing Pac told Snoop was, "F them people." Snoop felt like Pac had the right to say that. How the F you ain't trippin' when people try to kill you? You ain't trippin' when people try to shoot you? And they tried to do me. Homie, you went soft after that murder case. Referring to the murder case Snoop beat on February 21st, 1996. On March 25th, Pac recorded the song "Effing with the Wrong Guy," and you could tell that he's slowly getting into the hit 'em up mode again. He's being sarcastic here, saying that Biggie sending Faith like a peace offering won't change the fact that he will continue to go at him, mocking him by saying that it's business, never personal. He did the song with Faith, but instead of paying her, he slept with her as compensation, sending her back to New York, telling Biggie to not take it personally.
If you was half the man it was, bring your when you come for me, cause we sick thugs.
Saying that Faith at least had the metaphorical balls to come step into his territory and visit him, implying that Faith is much more of a man than Biggie, even though Big tried to make everyone believe that he's an ice-cold killer and mafia boss. Pac is telling him that he shall bring out the big guns when he and his crew come to get him.
I wanna be a peaceful man, but still, when taking them for me, all I can see is getting them away.
Pac still wanted revenge and confront Biggie in person. Snoop and the Dog Pound flew to New York in peace and got shot at because of Biggie. So Pac and Shook wanted to return the favor and make it impossible for the people from Bad Boy to come to LA without getting in trouble.
They keep it popping, lot of busters wanna see me fall. I put your itch and now this new issue, go me if more.
The next time Pac and Shook saw the people from Bad Boy was at the Soul Train Awards in LA on March 29th, 1996. This was Shook's territory. He had bought 60 tickets for Ma Pyru members to come to the show. Keefy D and the Southsiders were there too, but they weren't sitting with any of the Bad Boy members. None of the gang members were allowed to come on stage or accompany the artists on their way in or out that building. Keefy D didn't even see Puffy that day. It was said that Biggie was in charge of opening up the show on stage. Pac and Shook obviously got mad at that and wanted to open up the show themselves. I mean, the show took place in LA, and they let a New York artist open up in the middle of the East Coast-West Coast war. Shook and Pac's egos were so big that they couldn't allow it. Shook wanted his 50 to 60 men to rush that stage and carry Biggie outside. But they were late for the show and didn't actually see Biggie and his people on stage. They were on their way to the awards when Biggie was done performing, and after he got the award for R&B Soul or Rap Song of the Year for his song One More Chance. Biggie and his team were now leaving the awards with a small group of people through the back door. They had a flight to catch to North Carolina where they had a show, so they were in a rush. The people from Death Row, however, thought that they're trying to escape like cowards, leaving through the back door, all scared, trying to avoid confrontation. Pac, Shook, the Outlaws, the Death Row head of security Reggie Wright, bodyguard Frank Alexander, and a large group of Ma Peru members arrived at the back door where Biggie and his people were just coming out. Reggie Wright had tipped off the man who ran the security at the awards. He held back the bad boy camp and made sure that they don't leave before the people from Death Row arrived. So it was all a setup. The people from Death Row were late, so the plan of them attacking Biggie on stage didn't work out.
Ooh, what if they did, though?
So they resorted to plan B, to surprise them when they're trying to leave. Tupac was dressed in army fatigues, just like the people who robbed and shot him at the Quad Studios. Again, he was fully convinced that those people were Biggie's homies from Brooklyn, that they were the ones that set him up. So Pac wanted to return the favor and set them up in a similar way, now that they're in his territory.
If they come to California, some of these true-to-life gangbangers gonna pull your motherfucking card. You could do that little set me up in the studio in New York, but in California, nigga, that's where the G's ride.
He wanted to approach him dressed in army fatigues just like the robbers did to Tupac at the Quad Studios. But both sides had guns with them, and this was a place where the police would arrive in no time, so they wouldn't have been able to do something stupid even if they wanted to. There were eyewitnesses everywhere. Pac jumped out the Hummer and saw Biggie the moment he came out of that building. He immediately started yelling and insulting him. "You fat mother effer, traitor, you on the west side now. Let's get this ish over with right here, right now." That was the first time I really looked into his face, Biggie said in the September 96 issue of the Vibe magazine. I looked into his eyes and I was like, yo, this guy is really bugging the F out. Biggie had Little C's, Lance Rivera, C. Gutter, and one security guard with him. They were clearly outnumbered. The two groups came face to face and started arguing. C. Gutter from Biggie's camp then pulled out a gun. Reggie Wright from Pac's camp then warned him, saying that he better lower the gun and not point it at them, or else it's over. Pac was yelling, "Gimme the gun, gimme the gun! Shoot that mother effer, shoot him!" And Reggie was trying to calm him down, while Pac was pulling him by his arm. Puffy wasn't actually with Biggie at the time, but they were heading in their direction after Biggie's security guard called them for backup, meaning one armed security guard and Puffy as their reinforcements against Shook's people. They were clearly outnumbered and had nobody there to save them if it really came down to a shooting. But they were now rushing there, not knowing what Pac and his people wanted to do to Biggie. But Big was standing there all cool and relaxed. He didn't look scared at all. Little C's on the other hand was quote-unquote pissy drunk and started responding to the things Tupac was saying. "F you, man. East Coast, mother effer." To which Pac responded, "We on the west side now, we gon' handle this ish." The following week's Hollywood Reporter quoted an unnamed source saying that Pac waved a pistol at Biggie, but Big denied it in the Vibe magazine. Nah, Pac didn't pull steel on me. He was on some tough ish though. I can't knock them dudes for the way they go about their biz. They made everything seem so dramatic. I felt the darkness when he rolled up that night. Duke came out the window, fatigued out, screaming, "West Side, Outlaws." I was like, that's Bishop, talking about Tupac's character in the movie Juice. Whatever he's doing right now, that's the role he's playing. He played that ish to a T. He had his little goons with him, and Shook was with him, and they was like, "We're gonna settle this now." Then his people start formulating and my people start formulating. Someone pulled a gun. Mother effer starts screaming, "He got a gun, he got a gun." Like, we in LA, what the F are we supposed to do? Shootout? That's when I knew it was on. Keefe D said if he was with Biggie that day, he would have shot and killed Shook, Pac, Reggie, and the rest of the Death Row entourage. But C. Gutter and Reggie didn't fire any bullets that day. Lil C's and Lance Rivera tried to run away, while Big, his security, and C. Gutter stood there unbothered and fearless, according to Reggie Wright himself. The Fruit of Islam came and jumped in between the two groups, calming down the situation. Shook was talking to one of them, and after that, both groups went their separate ways. But the Death Row entourage was now coming to Puffy's direction, cause they wanted to get inside the building. Puffy panicked and jumped down the embankment, leaving the bodyguard Gene Deal behind, while the entire Death Row entourage came in his direction. Puffy ran alongside the trucks, and according to Reggie Wright, he hid under a car. He was scared to death, and the entire Death Row family was laughing at him. They definitely had the advantage that day. Tupac and Suge went inside the auditorium and walked around as if they owned the building, signing autographs while he was actually supposed to be on stage to accept the award for Album of the Year. Cause Pac had won in that category with Me Against the World, the only award he won while he was alive. Pac didn't even care to go on stage. He was just filled with adrenaline, walking around the building as if he's looking for a fight. Biggie, on the other hand, had won 4 Source Awards, 2 Billboard Awards and 1 Soul Train Award while he was alive, all through one album, while Pac had 4 solo projects out. He was mad about that as well, but he played it off as if he doesn't care about awards, saying that record sales is the only thing that matters, and Pac outsold all of them. So the Death Row entourage is now in the building while Bad Boy is outside trying to escape. They didn't want to spend too much time in LA, cause they never felt safe. Puffy then tried to call Biggie, who was now on his way to North Carolina. He didn't go on the phone because he was mad at him for leaving him behind. Puffy didn't actually fly to North Carolina. He drove back to the house he was staying at in LA, the one Pac and Suge wanted to find when they beat up Mark Bell. When they got there, Gene Deal called Chaz Slim Williams, owner of Black Hand Entertainment, and he told him what happened. He mentioned the fact that Puffy ran for his life, and Puffy overheard their conversation while he was going upstairs. He started yelling at him and said, "Why you telling him I ran? Why you ain't tell him I took a left?" Chaz and Gene Deal were shocked. Puff was heated, came back downstairs to speak to Gene. "Yo Gene, I got 126 employees, and these people depend on me for their livelihoods. If these white folks thought or would think that I had anything to do with any kind of gunplay, they wouldn't F with me. And they not gonna F with me. I'm a businessman. I'm about making money. But something gotta change. I don't give a F if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. Something has got to change." And then he went back upstairs. Gene Deal and his friend, who was in the same room, couldn't believe what they just heard. The other man in the room said, "Yo, that guy said Big." And Gene responded, "He sure did. Big gotta die? Yo, he said Big."
Bad boy killer, there's no one realer. Mob D killer, you know X killer. All you can die in your motherfucking sleep. And close your eyes, motherfucker. You sleeping on? Close your eyes. You sleeping on the west side? West side. Bad boy killer. Mob D killer.
On March 31st, Pac recorded the song Good Life with Big Psych.
Please forgive me for my wicked way.
On April 4th, Pac and Snoop recorded the song Street Life, with Pac dissing Biggie in his verse, even though Snoop supposedly made peace with Big in person. Pac even said he and Snoop are bad boy killers, and Snoop was fine with it. Pac would say bad boy killer on numerous records. It became one of his most commonly used phrases. He said it again on the song Troublesome 96, recorded on April 8th. On April 19th, Pac raised the airwaves of KMEL Radio's West Side Radio program in San Francisco. He spoke to Sway about his beef with Biggie and also the East Coast-West Coast war.
We gotta have this beef and this war and these words and this dialogue until we can renegotiate the terms of the treaty. I love the East Coast. I'm from the East Coast. But they have to understand that you can't just be saying this about us and think that we're not gonna take it personal. You can't just be calling us fakers and pretenders and non-creative motherfuckers and we can't freestyle and this and that and this and think we just gonna be like, oh, that's cool, we love them because they started it. Hell nah, we're gonna take it personal.
He also made it clear that it's not really a coastal war, but more of a label beef. Death Row Records versus Bad Boy Entertainment, while explaining how Biggie was able to take over the game at a time when the East Coast was really in need for a strong leader to keep the West Coast under control, cause they were taking over commercially, outselling rappers on the East Coast, even though New York is the mecca of hip-hop.
Biggie came at a time when they were open to somebody saying, we're the master race and these guys are nothing and the pretenders, and this is why we not making it in the business because of these guys. This is why we not doing nothing because of these guys. So the East Coast really not hating us, really not knowing nothing about us, but just listening to their supposed to be leader. You know, listening to the person that was representing for them. Like, yeah, okay, well, Biggie, he's from Brooklyn, you know what I mean? And that's what happened. So now I'm doing what the East Coast would have did if the West Coast did this to the East Coast. I'm riding. For my side, you know what I mean? You wrong. This is not right. Recognize us. And the only way the East Coast gonna recognize us is for us to do it on records, my money, my sales, and by representing it, just like KRS-One. I'm mad at Biggie, I'm rushing it. What's the problem?
He also made it clear that the so-called coastal war will end once the East Coast distances itself from Biggie, the King of New York, meaning that they stop treating him like their representative, leader, and king. Cause that's what Pac truly wanted. Take down Biggie and Bad Boy. So that they're no longer seen as the representatives of the East Coast.
That's real. The East Coast separate themselves from Biggie. We'll do shows in the East. Everything is beautiful. But so far, the East Coast has been with every interviews I read, every letter I read. It's just like, talk about Biggie this, Biggie, like he's representative of the East Coast. So that's why I attack as though I do, because I'm a general and I'm a smart general. And I'm not going to attack no blind soldiers. I'm going to attack those attacking me. Only reason people was mad now is because I came out of jail and made this shit a reality. When I got out of jail, the West Coast, East Coast issue was really started. California love, what I was saying, put it down. And now the niggas is mad because money is up. Attitudes have changed. It's not as safe as it used to be. Niggas got to think about their business steps, and that's what I wanted to happen. Now let's go to the table. Let's talk. Let's make peace. Let's work it out. Let's get a community the money.
Pac did not want to sit down with Biggie and Puffy to talk it out. He wanted to overthrow them and make peace with the rest of the East Coast, using the new label Death Row East, which was supposed to replace Bad Boy as the face of the East Coast, to show that they have no desire to fight the East Coast, that they're willing to cooperate with the East, promoting their artists and giving them a chance to shine. They were trying to get several New York rappers and rap groups on their side against Biggie and Bad Boy, but most of them at the time wanted to stay neutral, cause they didn't really want to bet on the wrong horse. Cause everybody knew that one of these labels was about to go down. The people from Death Row were not going to stop until Bad Boy is eliminated. But this could have went both ways. Cause Dre, the mastermind behind Death Row, had just left the label. And Pac was completely out of control. And the people on the East Coast of course didn't want to strengthen the quote-unquote enemy by picking the side of the people who are trying to destroy the face of their coast, meaning Bad Boy. They didn't want to betray the East Coast. So it was hard for Suge and Pac to make Death Row East work, cause nobody knew what was about to happen next.
So you saying with a conversation with guys like Puffy, Biggie, and that whole East Coast?
Sit down and conversate with Puffy or Biggie, because that's like Scarface sitting down with the dude he overthrew. You know what I mean? They not on my level, but I can sit down with the OGs from there, which we are doing. People don't even know we not beefing with the East Coast. We starting Death Row East with Eric B, all the OG niggas out there from the East Coast. We got Kane, Christopher Williams, all these artists. We trying to get Bobby Brown, all these artists. We trying to put the East Coast Death Row just like the West Coast Death Row and make it major. You know what I mean? Right, but we're not doing that until we get this business settled. And even while we doing that, we're trying to get the Wu-Tangs again, because I love them. I feel as though they represent the East Coast how we represent the West Coast. And I love them.
Pac also thought that the Bad Boy camp is mad because he found out about what happened at the Quad Studios. He knew who set him up, who was cool with them before and after the shooting, and now they're getting exposed. So Pac thought the Bad Boy camp had a problem with that.
They mad because I know what happened. That's why they all, you know, it's Biggie and them, they're not riding. That's why what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. I'm destroying him. I fucked his wife. I'm fucking him in the game. I'm destroying him. He lives by the rules of the game. He lives off a mafia image. I'm bringing him showing how he totally disregarded the rules of the game, and he's everything but a mafia.
You reinvented it.
Right. I'm showing him. You know what I mean? If anybody's a mafia, look at me. I fucked your bitch. I took 5 shots. I went your crew. I mean, I just what? I went to New York. They don't do shows out here. I did Saturday Night Live. Y'all forgot. Live in New York, where everybody knew I was going to be there on stage, no problems. Went to the clubs, everything. in the middle with my West Side ride. You know what I mean? Because I'm real about it. I don't hate New York, but if y'all don't understand it, you get rolled over too. Because I hear y'all. I was in jail and I heard what they were saying on the radio. And I swear to God, dog, they used to diss the West Coast.
He also talked about Biggie's player image, how it's all fake and made up to sell records. How Pac is the real player, and that a quote-unquote faker like Biggie could never battle him as he'd only expose himself. Cause Pac felt like Biggie was rapping about his life the whole time.
I feel like I'm doing it for hip-hop. All I'm trying to do is get the imposters out. I remember Biggie sleeping on my couch. I remember...
Right around, we with Tupac.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So Big Papa don't mean nothing to me. He know it. He know it. That's why he can't fight me. That's why he can't battle me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can make songs talking exactly about him, and he can't talk about me because he know. I'm the one that used to buy him champagne. All that shit he talking, that was me buying him that. He talking about my lifestyle with his album. Because when he was doing his album, he was broke. I was having money. The shit he talking about was my life. Thug life. That's what he talking about. All that Junior Mafia, them niggas was young motherfuckers that used to hang around that I used to give money to get on the train to go home at night. Little Caesar and all of that.
And Kim and all that.
Yeah, so now they rapping against me, and you can imagine how I feel.
He also talked about the gun charges in '93, which he received after the incident at the Parker Meridian Hotel where Ayanna Jackson got assaulted. Biggie was there too that day and left his guns there, for which Tupac got into trouble, on top of what Ayanna Jackson accused him of.
When I got arrested in New York, I got arrested for Biggie. Them guns in my room was Biggie's guns because them cowards left the room when they heard the police was downstairs, and everybody left their guns in my room. So I got 4 guns in my room. Serial numbers scratched out, and I did not since I took that case. So you can imagine how I feel when I'm in jail for that case, and he out there living a mafia lifestyle, giving me no money, giving me no respect, giving me no tribute, rolling with my road dog who was there when I got shot. I mean, come on, man. I'm not paranoid. I'm not paranoid.
That same day, after doing the interview with Sway, he drove directly to the studio to re-record the Bad Boy diss record Hit 'Em Up, with entirely new verses from him and the Outlaws, but this time they tried to be even more disrespectful than before. And he didn't just go at Biggie. He also went against Diddy, Lil Kim, Lil C's, Junior Mafia, the whole Bad Boy label, Mobb Deep, Gino XL, Jay-Z, and everyone else who had a problem with him. The producer Johnny J made the same beat from scratch, but this time it sounded more polished. They also took inspiration from the Get Money remix, where the background singer repeatedly said, "Get money," and on Hit 'Em Up they turned it into "Take money," basically saying that Biggie might be getting money, but Pac is taking it away from him. The song starts off in the most disrespectful way possible, probably the most iconic opening line in history.
That's why I fuck. We cool. I did all this stuff for you and shit. I know y'all supposed to play the rules of the street shit, but nigga, you still came and claimed them your guns and shit, but you let me take the fall. Then I'm in jail. You not giving me no money, nothing, bruh. They don't really be showing this side of the shit. When we talk about the Tupac and Biggie, they don't never really show this side.
It's your bitch, you fat motherfucker. West Side, bad boy killer.
Pac destroyed whatever was left of Biggie's marriage with this song alone. By this point, everyone had seen the pictures of Pac and Faith together. Now this song would play at every club, at every event, in every hood, and every day on the radio. Starting off with the most disrespectful opening lines in hip-hop history, on one of the hardest tracks of '96. A timeless classic with infinite replay value. Starting off his first verse with a huge FU to Biggie's wife and Junior Mafia. On the first version of Hit 'Em Up, Pac didn't really insult Biggie's wife, only said that he slept with her. But now that Faith told Big about the sample they used for Hit 'Em Up, and them using it for the Get Money remix in the attempt to sabotage Pac, he had no reason to spare Faith during his lyrical onslaught, saying that he not only effed her, but he's also saying F her, used her and threw her away. The disrespect. He's also saying that as a representative of the West, people can be sure that he will pull up strapped and with game, meaning intensity, every time he goes for a ride to hunt his enemies.
You claim to be a player, but I f***ed your wife. We bust some bad boys, niggas fuck for life.
How can you claim to be a player, make the song Player's Anthem, but then wife up a promiscuous woman, who according to her own confessions in her book, had numerous affairs behind Biggie's back, opening her legs for random men, possibly even for Biggie's enemy Tupac? How can you call yourself a player after that? Players usually don't even have a wife. They never commit and change partners like their underwear. So Pac was pointing out that contradiction. He's also threatening to shoot and kill the people from Bad Boy. After reading Pac's comments in the Vibe magazine and hearing his constant jabs at him and his label, Puffy told Pac to come see him if he's as tough as he claims, so that they can talk it out face to face. He was calling him a fake thug and actor. But then, when they actually met at the 96 Soul Train Awards, Puff ran for his life and hid under a car. And everyone was laughing at him. So Pac is saying that he'd rip his weak heart out. He doesn't associate with weak-hearted people. But this is also a double entendre, with Pac saying that Puffy wants to see him weak. Like when he went to prison with the whole media destroying his image and reputation, and then putting out Who Shot Ya to kick Pac while he was already on the ground, unable to respond. But now that he's out, he's showing the world that Puffy, Biggie and Bad Boy are easy targets for him. Quote unquote mark-ass B-words.
We keep on coming while we running for your juice. Steady gunning, keep on busting at the boots. You know the rules.
Similar to how Pac was robbed for his jewelry in the presence of Biggie and Puffy, Pac and his homies will come for their jewelry as well and rob them at gunpoint. Take their jewelry and take their money, like you hear the singers say in the background. When Puffy heard this, he actually put out a $75,000 bounty on Death Row chains. Anybody who manages to snatch one of their chains and bring it back to Puffy would receive that amount of money. Cause Puffy's plan was to record a Bad Boy music video for Biggie, with them showing off the stolen Death Row medallion to belittle them. Showing them that they're the ones in power, the ones that get the last laugh. On Hit 'Em Up, you were saying that you would rob us and take our jewelry, but as you can see, you're the ones who actually got robbed. You're the victims and you can't do anything about it. That's what Puffy wanted to do to ridicule and emasculate them. Now this is a clever play on Little Caesar's name, turning C's into deceased, cutting him up into pieces, which is also a reference to Julius Caesar, must have had an impact on him. And killers. So the next time the two would meet each other like at the Soul Train Awards, somebody was always competing with people to prove that he's the best. He even dissed Jay on his own song. It's of All Eyes on Me. Now he's dragging all these East Coast artists into the beef, knowing that Pac is a hothead that will interpret this mixtape as them picking Biggie's side. And indeed, Pac would later diss most of the artists on this tape. Jay-Z, Nas, De La Soul, oh, and they even put Helter Skelter on here. Rock from Helter Skelter later kicked the fake Biggie off the stage in one of the music videos of the group OGC, which was part of the Boot Camp clique, which Pac was actually cool with. Puff tried to start some drama between them, so that Pac stops messing with the Boot Camp clique, cause they were underground and saw Puffy and Biggie as the gatekeepers of East Coast hip-hop, the people who dictate who becomes popular and who stays underground. That's what they complained to Pac about, and Pac promised to sign them to Death Row East. That's why they were always loyal to him. But now Puff is trying to cause a rift between them, so that the Boot Camp clique stays in Bad Boy's control, and that Pac won't collaborate with them. The Boot Camp clique actually claims that Puffy blackballed them. Pac was also cool with the Wu-Tang Clan. He wanted to sign them to Death Row East too. But now Puff is trying to make it seem like the Wu-Tang Clan is picking the side of Bad Boy in the beef, cause they kinda ended on a bad note with RZA getting beaten up by Death Row artists, more specifically by the group OFTB. So they were like, why the hell would we sign to Death Row East when you can't even respect us? And Pac would try his best to save their relationship, repeatedly saying in interviews that he got love for them. He of course loved the fact that Raekwon and Ghostface were dissing Biggie, so he thought they were the perfect addition to their label. but you can't expect them to join after beating up the leader of the group. And now RZA is on the Bad Boy mixtape, producing beats for Biggie's album Life After Death. Part of Puffy's war strategy was to burn the bridges between Pac and the East Coast, so that he doesn't have any supporters or allies left, and so that the King of New York is in control of his kingdom and territory, meaning the East Coast, making it seem like Pac has to go at all these artists, including the Wu-Tang Clan, in order to take down Bad Boy Records. DMX was on the radio dissing Tupac as well. He wanted to use the East-West conflict to kickstart his career. Pac was also under the impression that De La Soul was trying to diss the West Coast on the song Stakes is High. We also had Capone and Noriega on here, who previously dropped a song called LALA, dissing the Death Row artists The Dog Pound and Snoop. We also had Nas on here with the song Street Dreams, using the same sample as Pac's All Eyes on Me, which really pissed him off because he thought that Nas stole his beat. Jay-Z was on here too, on a song with Biggie who's responding to Pac. So yeah, Pac was pissed off. Almost every feature guest on here was handpicked strategically, knowing that it will cause confusion for Tupac. He was talking to him directly, in the intro where he's reacting to the outro of Hit 'Em Up, telling Tupac to stop yapping.
This how we gonna do this. That's right. Up Mobb Deep, up Biggie, up Bad Boy as a staff record label and as a motherfucking crew. And if you wanna be down Bad Boy, then you too. Chino X. Come on, up you bring too. It. All you motherfuckers, up you too.
Puff is playing it cool, acting like the song Hit 'Em Up is light work. Nothing that's worth getting upset about. Something that's not even worth addressing. He's laughing it off, asking Pac why he's so upset, sarcastically telling him that he's scary.
You sound upset. Why do you sound so upset?
All of y'all motherfuckers, you die slow, my fofo make sure all y'all kids don't broke. You motherfuckers can't be us or see us. We motherfucking thug like riders west side till we die.
He's once again calling him an actor, saying that his acting performance is spectacular as always, that he deserves an Academy Award for playing the role of a tough gangster and thug. This is the same thing he said in the Vibe magazine where he responded to Pac explaining what's happened at the Quad Studios. Puffy, Biggie, Andre Harrell and Jimmy Henchman were calling him an actor.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Give him a round of applause. The Academy Award goes to the actor, Tupac Shakur. Give him a round of applause.
It's gonna triple in 4 quadruple.
He also sampled a speech by Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, in which he talks about him and his enemy not letting go of each other until one of them dies, saying that he'll be the one surviving, while his enemy dies. And Puffy used it to say the same thing about Tupac, that he will be the one that dies, while Puffy will be the survivor, which is exactly what happened, since Puffy put out a hit on him.
Some of my black brothers and sisters want me to be quiet, be silent. I can't let them go, and they can't let me go.
I can't let you go.
I can't let them go.
I can't let you go. No, 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 no.
God has me on your behind, and I'm not gonna let it go, and you got me.
I bet you do got me.
Like you're holding on to an electric current, and you can't let me go. So we are locked in a life and death struggle. Only one of us is going to survive.
That's right.
Now I want you to write this down. I shall tell you today.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So he and Big all of a sudden became cool, even though Dre always looked down on him.
Oh boy, name Biggie Luke.
I covered Pac's beef with Dre in a separate video. Make sure to check it out. So just like how the Bootcamp Clique and several other New York rap groups and rappers sided with the quote-unquote enemy on the opposite coast, meaning Pac and the West Coast, Dr. Dre and his allies were more or less siding with Biggie on the East Coast, even though they are West Coast artists. Both sides were trying to win over rappers from the opposite coast who had nothing to do with the beef, in order to cause a coast internal conflict, something like a rebellion against the king within the kingdom. People in New York who don't acknowledge Biggie as their king, and people in LA who don't acknowledge Pac as their leader. Both sides were doing it to weaken their opponent, to make sure that the enemy doesn't have enough influence to have an entire coast behind them. So that New York, for example, ain't fully rocking with Biggie and doesn't have his back during the Coastal War. That's why Pac and Suge tried to build up the label Death Row East, to not only win over rappers from the East Coast, but also their fans. At the time, Pac was actually working on an album called One Nation, inviting rappers from the East Coast like the Bootcamp Clique to come make music with him, showing Biggie that he ain't in full control over his kingdom, even though he's technically the king. Big and Puff were now trying to do the same thing with Dre, who was the co-founder of Death Row Records, the face of the West Coast, prior to Pac getting released from prison and turning the label upside down. Pac came on board and made the co-owner leave his own label, and now he's replacing him. Puffy knew that giving Dre a shout-out would infuriate Tupac, cause they were beefing as well. Pac and Suge saw Dre as a traitor. They were the type to make a lot of unnecessary enemies for themselves. And Puffy used their hot-headed and recklessness against them. While they were busy making themselves enemies, Puffy made sure to reach out his hand to every single one of them. And this made Pac go back in the booth and record an entire album worth of songs going at everyone Puffy gave a shout out to. He could have basically given a shout out to anyone, and Pac would have started beefing with them. That's why Pac's next album, Killuminati, is less about Puffy and Biggie, but more about the ones that were given a shout out on the mixtape, like Dre, Jay-Z, Nas, and De La Soul, for example. This gave Puffy and Biggie room to breathe, since Pac would get distracted by all these new enemies. People who appeared to be stepping into the arena where Biggie and Tupac were supposed to have a one-on-one battle. Biggie was slowly leaving the arena while Pac was busy fighting the crowd, wasting his energy on everyone but his main target. And that's part of the reason why you didn't hear as much Biggie slander anymore after the release of this mixtape. There were just too many new opponents for Pac to just focus on one person. This worked in Biggie's favor, because the beef was getting too much for him. He had writer's block and couldn't focus on his art. The beef really bothered him. They actually moved to the Caribbean to finish the album Life After Death, left the US because of the East-West War. They didn't feel safe in their own city. The relaxing atmosphere in the Caribbean helped Biggie a lot. Track number 14 is called Talking Ish. Puffy continues slandering Tupac.
There been a lot of yapping going on. Tupac made a motherfucking record. Dissing my man, dissing me, dissing my crew, dissing my company. And I loved it. I loved it. Because it let me know the bitch she really was. Because I don't know where y'all from, but where I'm from, bad boys moving silent. You dig? And if they want to come see me, they can come see me. You know?
They did see your
see my
ass,
man Biggie.
They
know where he's at. They can come see him.
Then he talks about his future plans against Tupac, now that he dropped the song Hit 'Em Up, saying that bad boys move in silence. Now the question is, what did Puffy mean by bad boys move in silence? Cause he did a lot of shady things in the background, involving the Southside Crips, who did a lot of dirt for him. Puffy not only put a $75,000 bounty on Death Row Chains, but he later put out a $1 million bounty on Tupac and Suge's heads, which I will touch on later. What could he have meant with bad boys move in silence? Cause Biggie had decided against lyrically responding to Pac, so they would have to respond in a different way.
There's a whole lot of acting going on. If a nigga wanna touch you, a nigga wanna see you, he can find you. And all y'all niggas that's getting caught up with actors, remember, bad boys move in silence, man. And all y'all niggas asking me questions about what's going on and how I feel and what I'm gonna do, as I said, listen to me. Bad boys move in silence, so I have nothing to say to you. Can you feel me?
He also calls Tupac a player hater, which will be relevant when talking about Biggie's upcoming album, cause he has a song on there called Player Hater.
We're about to hit side B off, and we gonna dedicate this to all the now player haters, all the kids that ain't jealous, All the niggas that don't act like this, all the niggas that don't act and keep it real, all the real thugs, the real gangsters. We gonna dedicate this to all the niggas getting money that ain't worrying about the next getting money or what the next niggas doing or who the next niggas hit, huh? This one goes out to you. Side B, I love y'all niggas. Come on!
The track that plays next is a Biggie freestyle, which also sounds like a response to the accusations made by Pac and the Outlaws, that Biggie is biting Pac and is trying to sound like him.
How can they stand there and say I sound like them? Hello, watch the entourage turn yours to just mirages.
Biggie is also singing the hook of the Get Money remix on the same track, which he did on purpose to imply that the line was indeed aimed at Pac. And they're also teasing his upcoming album Life After Death, which they claimed was supposed to contain response records against Pac, even though later they claimed that Biggie did not want to respond, with a full diss track at least, cause he was still throwing jabs here and there.
We're Notorious B.I.G.
You know, we dark, we need sun, you know what I'm saying?
Life After Death, the album.
The final song on the mixtape contains more shots at Pac, but this time more direct. It was a song Brooklyn's Finest with Biggie and Jay-Z. On that song, Biggie purposefully referenced Too Shot Ya, which again everybody interpreted as a diss record against Pac. On Who Shot Ya, Biggie called himself Brooklyn's Finest.
And Brooklyn's finest, you rewind this, bad boys behind.
And they named the song after that line. DJ Clark Kent even quoted it on Brooklyn's Finest. Clark Kent was actually the one that brought Biggie and Jay-Z together, and they ended up doing the song Brooklyn's Finest together. That's where Biggie learned that Jay-Z didn't write down his lyrics, cause Jay was doing everything in his head. So Biggie was like, if you can do it in your head, then I can do it too. Jay had acquired the skill after years and years of practice, creating entire verses without writing anything down. From that point on, Biggie did everything in his head too. Biggie wanted to show him that he can do everything that Jay-Z can do on the mic. Every trick, every skill, every technique. Things he practiced for years. As the King of New York, Biggie felt like he should be able to do that too. No MC should possess a skill that the King can't replicate. That's why when he rapped with Bone Thugs and Harmony, he tried to replicate their fast-paced triplet flow. Cause Biggie wasn't a fast rapper, but he wanted to prove to everybody that he's the best MC, someone that can master everybody's styles, challenge people using their skills, out-rap people with their own styles. But in order to learn the technique of writing raps without a pen and paper, he had to practice it again and again, just like Jay-Z did for years. Jay had mastered that technique already, but Big needed some time. That's why, unlike Jay, he didn't lay down his verse on the first day. He went back on tour, taught himself Jay's technique, and then came back to finish the song. These two respected each other a lot. They became really close. And Jay didn't mind that Biggie is dissing Pac on his record. Jay knew that he would get himself involved in the beef, but he didn't mind. He was actually encouraging Biggie to battle him, cause Big loved the competition. That's why he was always competing with people, to prove that he's the best. He even dissed Jay on his own song. He then mentioned the song Who Shot Ya while going back and forth with Jay.
Who shot you? My ties like Sinatra.
This made Pac believe that Big and Jay are taunting him. Biggie was initially denying that Who Shot Ya was about Pac, but he mentioned it next to lines that seemed like they were aimed at Pac, and Pac believed that everything was said on purpose to provoke him.
Who shot you? My ties like Sinatra. You think you mob? We the mob. Who shot you? My ties like Sinatra. You think you mob? We the mob.
Pac wanted to be part of Shook's gang, the Mob Piru. He had an MOB tattoo on the back of his arm. Like explained in my King of New York video, Biggie was not only dissing Pac on here, but also Jay-Z. Some of these lines have double meanings behind them. Like when he tells Jay-Z to pass the safe, before he blazes the place, basically robbing Jay-Z. He said something similar about Tupac's mother on the Get Money remix, which Puffy even put on the Stop Yappin' intro to this Pac.
The actress didn't want to show me the safe.
It's okay, she was home anyway.
Pass the safe before I blaze the place. And here's 6 shots just in case.
Here's 6 shots just in case. Pac was shot 5 times at the Quad Studios. Biggie is saying, I know you survived 5 shots and even bragged about it in your song. So here's 6 shots just in case. Let's see if you can survive again.
5 shots couldn't drop me, I took it and smiled. And here's 6 shots just in case. 5 shots couldn't drop me, I took it and smiled. And here's 6 shots just in case.
So yeah, the lines about the safe when he's robbing someone and the one about the 6 shots were definitely about Pac. But the part that people point out the most is the final line in verse 7, where Biggie responds to the whole thing about Pac sleeping with Faith, who at this point in time was pregnant with Biggie's baby.
If they have twins, she probably have 2 Pacs.
Time to separate the pros.
So he was poking fun at the possibility that Faith, who became pregnant between January and February 96, might actually be having a 2-pack of kids that both belonged to Tupac after their alleged affair, which supposedly happened in October 95. So it couldn't have possibly been Tupac's offspring. He was just joking around. Faith Evans actually confronted Biggie about this line, asking, "What are you going to tell your child?" That's on record, while looking at him with a look of disgust, which supposedly made Biggie cry. "I'm sorry, I was under pressure. People was just talking ish." So Big supposedly didn't make that joke out of confidence, but out of insecurity. He wasn't laughing it off while being all cold and stoic. But that's how Pac and the entire world interpreted it.
It was a diss, but I was just upset at the time, you know what I'm saying? That's all. I'm just that type of person, you know what I'm saying? I just did that. You know? It was kind of funny to me. Everybody laughed when I did it, but, you know, I don't care. I'm my own person, you know?
Biggie and Fat Joe then supposedly started working on a collab album together, dissing Tupac. They made around 5 songs in total, but never actually got to finish the project as Atlantic Records heard about it and intervened, offering Joe to help him form his own record label, which later became Terror Squad Productions. This is all according to Fat Joe himself, a collaboration between the quote-unquote Puerto Rican Don and the Black Don, going at Machiavelli the Don on the West Coast. They felt like they were the Dons of the East Coast, so it was their job to respond to all the disrespect from Tupac. Puff Daddy was supposed to produce the album and offered Joe a record deal, but he decided to start his own record label instead, signing artists like Big Pun, Cuban Link and the group Terror Squad. According to Joe, the songs they recorded will probably never see the light of day. Jay-Z also tried to motivate Big to respond to Hit 'Em Up, and even offered to help him, but Biggie didn't want to add more fuel to the fire. And this would confuse people because he would always make conflicting statements about whether or not he's going to respond. Cause in interviews he was teasing diss tracks on his upcoming album Life After Death, telling people to stay tuned, and that they can look forward to a response. But now he's telling his team to leave it be, making it clear that nobody is recording response records or else they're getting thrown off the group. Meaning both Junior Mafia with Lil Cease and Lil Kim, and also the Commission with Jay-Z and Charlie Baltimore. The entire team was ready to respond, but Big told them that he won't mess with them if they do.
Mafia wanted to do a song. You know, Kim wanted to do a song.
Even I was like, yo, let's go. Do something.
Big was like, yo, if any one of y'all doing response records, I'm not messing with you no more. Do not do that. That's not what we do.
He was like, nah, I know where this is going. Not gonna feed into that energy. That's not the sort of energy that I want.
Serious street cats would approach Big and express their disappointment in him for letting Pac slap him around like that. And he would tell them that Pac shall come say those things to his face. He wanted to have a serious talk with him. It was personal. Big had his pride too, so he did make songs going at him. A couple jabs here and there to show the world that he can take it there if he wanted to.
Man, you could not
that he's lyrically capable of defending him.
You could not fool Pac. I don't know what the fuck he talking about. He doing something, that nigga.
Self and of doing
Killed
just
his
as
ass.
much harm to Pac as he did to Big if he wanted to. But he really wanted to talk to him face to face, cause this whole thing started because of a lack of communication. Pac built hate and resentment for him cause he wouldn't come see him in prison. If they had talked it out while Pac was in prison, this whole beef wouldn't have happened. But Big had the world racing around him. And just like in the movie King of New York with the character Frank White, which was also Biggie's alias, He didn't want to see his friend locked up in a cage. That's why he didn't pay him a visit after he came out of prison.
How come you never came to see me? Who wanted to see you in a cage, man? Of course.
Big supposedly wanted to pay him a visit after his release from prison. But by that time, it was already too late. He still hoped that he could talk it out with him. So Big's team was told to stay out of it. According to Fat Joe, people in New York were bumping Hit 'Em Up in front of Biggie to annoy him, walking around with a boombox blasting the song while Big is minding his own business. Haters in Biggie's territory blasting the song at full volume in an attempt to ruin Biggie's day. And this was New York. Now imagine what the situation would have been like in Pac's territory. It was hard for people from both sides to travel to the opposite coast withoc getting reminded of the beef. They were always getting into trouble, so they had to proceed with caution, especially now with the release of Hit 'Em Up. On June 10th, Tupac recorded the song Why You Turn On Me, in which he once again talked about Biggie stabbing him in the back.
Me and you, no closer to two, while drinking food, she need, taking anything at all, come to me.
This right here is about Pac's relationship with Biggie prior to the beef. They were drinking and hanging out together all day, like the closest homies. Pac would give him anything he needed, reached out his hand to him every time he needed help or support, showed him how to dress, bought him clothes, gave him money, showed him how to become popular with girls, gave him the keys to his Jeep, and offered his home as a place for him to stay while he's in LA. After Biggie became famous, things started to change. To Pac, it seemed like Biggie forgot about him while he was locked up and short on cash. That's why he's asking him, "Did you think I'd die?" He chose not to cooperate with Pac when he was robbed and gunned down, and completely ignored him. Then he talks about not getting a single visit from him while he was in prison, saying that all his old homies, meaning Stretch and Biggie, were too busy now that his money is gone, cause he didn't have the money to bail himself out, and he wasted most of his savings on lawyer fees, hoping that Biggie and Puffy would help him out, now that they have a successful label making millions, cause Pac contributed to Biggie's success.
I never got a single visit, yet I carry on. All my old friends too busy, now my money gone.
The release of Hit 'Em Up came with a lot of negative press and criticism towards Tupac, accusing him of insulting and belittling an entire coast.
I made a song about my enemies, the chicken drip. It was hip hop until Tupac or Biggie. If y'all take a different picture, it made.
With Puffy trying to unite all the major New York MCs to stay next to Biggie while he's doing this whole back and forth with Pac, Pac thought that he needs to show people that he doesn't have a problem with the East Coast, but everyone that's affiliated with his enemies, meaning those who diss him, look down on the West Coast, or are close to or part of the label Bad Boy or Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment.
They say we hate the East Coast, but that's funny, got a lot of love for any getting money.
The next thing he decided to do was to unite both coasts by cherry-picking artists on the East Coast he wants to be cool with and see on top, while continuing to battle the rest of the East Coast, those that chose Biggie's side in the war. And he wanted to accomplish this with the East Coast-West Coast collaboration album One Nation, which he started working on June 14th. He did songs with Black Moon, Smith & Wesson, OGC, Helter Skelter, Greg Nice from Nice and Smooth, The Loonies. He also did songs with Big Daddy Kane and wanted to work with the pioneer Melly Mel, who he wanted to sign to Death Row East. On Pac's last birthday, which was on June 16th, 1996, he was in the studio recording the One Nation album while making fun of Biggie and the rappers from the East Coast he didn't like.
We hear that you are involved with the murders of the East Coast rappers that we've been hearing about lately.
No, I got love for the East Coast. We just, I heard about one incident where this one guy, P.I.G. got hurt. Yeah, I heard he got hurt. But as far as all the other East Coast rappers, I love them. I'm working on a new project called One Nation. It's going to be an East Coast, West Coast collaboration. So You got Greg
East Coast, West Coast.
Yep. It's gonna be a collaboration. Nah, with that.
Slosby?
Nah.
None of that.
We're doing it with the real niggas out there.
Okay.
So that we can make more extinct.
None of
the suckers.
On June 18th, Pac was interviewed by Simon Rex for MTV at the Hollywood Athletic Club in LA. Same place where Pac and Faith met in October 95. Black Moon and Smith & Wesson were there too that night. During the interview, Pac talked about the One Nation album, which in his words was supposed to end the East Coast-West Coast beef, saying that it's only a feud between two rappers.
I got this new project coming out along with some other brothers called One Nation, and it's like an East Coast, West Coast collaboration to kill this whole new vibe everybody want to be on about it being a war between the East Coast and the West Coast. Right. It's really just a problem with two rappers. We ain't mad at the whole spot in New York, we just mad at certain people.
On June 25th, Jay-Z's debut album Reasonable Doubt finally came out, containing the song Brooklyn's Finest and the lines against Pac. Around the same time, Puffy found out about Suge's relationship with his baby mama Misa Hilton. Wolf, the man Suge accused of shooting Big Jake, showed Puffy pictures of Suge and Misa Hilton together, which supposedly were in a Death Row Artist Press magazine at the time. Suge had his arm around Misa Hilton, while she had Puffy's 2-year-old son Justin in her arm. Not only was the photo itself disrespectful, but the caption made everything worse. It said, "The East Coast can't take care of their own, but what the East Coast won't take care of, the West Coast will." The ad, which was discussed on New York's Hot 97 by resident gossip Wendy Williams, never ran anywhere, but reps were tarnished nonetheless. Puffy was enraged and fuming when he saw those pictures. His ex-bodyguard Gene Deal said that he saw a vein come out of Puffy's forehead out of anger. And he also claimed that Puffy made a couple of phone calls later on, yelling and cussing people out. What the hell is Suge doing with my son? Is he trying to threaten me? They stayed up until the next morning because the situation was so heated. It was hard to calm him down. He tried calling Misa Hilton, but she didn't go on the phone. So he allegedly panicked, thinking Suge Knight had kidnapped his baby mama and son. On June 30th, Puffy was rushed to the emergency room of St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital in Upper Manhattan, where he was treated for a deep cut to his lower right arm. New York's Daily News called it a slit wrist, implying that it was more than just an accident, a possible attempt to take his own life. Puffy called the story nonsense. "I was playing with my girl and I reached for a champagne glass and it broke on my bracelet, cutting my arm. I ain't trying to kill myself. I got problems, but it ain't that bad," Puffy said. The Death Row head of security, Reggie Wright, claims that Puffy panicked when he saw the pictures, and when he heard about Suge taking Misa and her son Justin to LA. Puffy allegedly thought that Suge kidnapped them and tried to harm his son, in retaliation for Big Jake's murder. On Hit 'Em Up, Pac had threatened Puffy and Biggie, saying that he'll make sure that their kids won't grow. And Puffy supposedly took those threats very seriously. Puffy's mother hysterically called the officers of Death Row to ask and beg them to return her grandson, meaning Puffy's firstborn, Justin Combs. She allegedly told them that Puffy tried to end his life by cutting his wrist while he was drunk, saying that he had a panic attack. They later denied it, saying that it was an accident. Misa Hilton wasn't on good terms with Puffy at the time, so she apparently laughed it off and said, "This BS N-word really tried to kill himself," while she was in LA with Suge, after Puffy's mother made that call begging them to send her grandbaby home. Misa was having a good time and sleeping around while the father of her son had a mental breakdown, trying to take his own life. Misa then went back home after a week or two and the situation cooled down. They both had their fun on Puffy's expense. The damage was done, and Puffy hit a low point in terms of mental health and overall happiness. Pac and Suge were playing mind games, trying to drive him crazy, destroy him and everything he worked for. According to Gene Deal, that was the last straw and the point of no return for Diddy. When the legendary DJ Eric B., who was supposed to run Death Row East, wanted to have a meeting with Biggie, hoping to squash the East Coast-West Coast beef. Puffy didn't want any part of a truce meeting, even though months prior at the Source Awards, he was saying that the East Coast-West Coast beef needs to be stopped.
I'm the executive producer that a comment was made about a little bit earlier. But check this out, contrary to what other people may feel, I would like to say that I'm very proud of Dr. Dre, of Death Row, and Suge Knight for their accomplishments. And all this East and West that needs to stop.
Puffy wanted revenge, but didn't know how to get it without potentially ruining his business and reputation as a serious and noble label boss.
We're gonna start right here. I appreciate everybody coming through. We will continue tomorrow. I ain't gonna do 11 p.m. I'm gonna do it 1 p.m. Friday 1 p.m. Make sure y'all come in. It's gonna be early. I gotta ask the documentary. I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna finish up with this one. Then we got a Tupac inmate, his cellmate. We gotta see his insight what really happened at that time. He was locked up and Biggie and them were throwing shots. So we got that one. Then we got the NWA later on tonight. I mean later on. What's the day anyway? Later on. So we got 3 streams. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Notification. We gonna continue this. We got the Tupac cellmate. This is the second stream, and the third stream gonna be NWA. My first time reacting NWA. And Easy versus Death Row. I appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure y'all like the fucking stream. Y'all enjoy it, man. I see y'all later on, really, Eastern. The first stream gonna be 1 p.m.